Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
When you have this name on your jersey, it's just, it's an honor on its own to even put on a jersey like this that, Nia Johnson, Odyssey Sims, Brittany Griner once wore. Then I looked up to them, and now I'm being coached by, the legendary Coach Smokey. So it's exciting. It's an honor, and, I'm grateful, forever grateful to be here for 4 years and being with the staff and the, players that I've grown up with. So I'm just excited.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Another shot fake. And the drive and the layup. And one for Jared Butler.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
If you can't come in and put work in the building, go out to the practice field and work hard, do your lifts, and do what you're supposed to do, you should not be here. This is a job. We are getting paid a whole lot of money. There are a lot of people that watch us and invest their time and their money into buying our jerseys and buying a whole bunch of
Now, here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go. SicEm365 Radio on game day for Baylor men's basketball in Morgantown against West Virginia. Number 3 ranked Baylor against number 6 West Virginia. So much on the line, momentum. The Big 12. Baylor trying to get themselves out of what was obviously the 21-day pause, beating Iowa State, losing their first game to Kansas. It ought to be fun. We'll hear from assistant head coach Jerome Tang. Also, Baylor athletic director Mack Rhodes joined me earlier today, and we'll have a lengthy interview with him on many things of what the decision-making was when it comes to the men's basketball team and when they came back and who was all involved in that. And was there pressure from either the chatter or the Big 12 or the commissioner or even within? So we'll have that today at 4:20. We know that there's a game going on. We're going to monitor it as well throughout the afternoon until 6 o'clock. Also, Connolly head coach Quentin Snell. They're playing Silsbee tonight. We'll hear from David Hellman, John McClain, and Baylor cornerbacks coach Kevin Curtis joins us. Those are in the 5 o'clock hour. Craig Smoak, Paul Catalina. We're remote again today. So much to get to. Let's start with the breaking news. Governor Abbott has said that next Wednesday, businesses are allowed to open up 100% capacity, and the mask, I guess you could say, policy, all of that changes next Wednesday. The reaction that I've seen, of course, is like almost anything else. 50% excited, 50% going, oh my God, what are we doing? You guys, your thoughts on Governor Abbott's decision?
I think I fall into that exact category of 50% of me is excited that we're at a point where we can do that, but and I'm trying not to be too political here, and this is not a Republican-Democrat thing, but I am a little lax to pat someone on the back for throwing a political diversion out when he almost bankrupted our state 2 weeks ago as part of the grid screw-up, and he's trying to divert from that. So, I'm glad that it's going that way, but the timing of this is very suspect to me.
Yeah, I'm with Paul. I think the timing's really suspect. I mean, this guy has been grilled and raked over the coals for the last 2 weeks now, and rightfully so. He put a lot of people in danger because the state was not prepared for the storm that hit. And regardless of what they say about that, there's no excuses. What we experienced and the fright that people had to go through, that were living without power for 2-3 days. I mean, there's just no excuses for people having to live like that. And I experienced a little bit, but not as long as some others. And I'll tell you, man, it messed with me in a major way. So I'm not going to go pat Greg Abbott on the back for anything anytime soon. I know that at some point this move has to be made, right? I mean, I can't envision us wearing masks for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, although some would prefer that. I don't prefer that way of life. I prefer whatever the safest measure is. So part of me is commending him, or not him. Part of me is excited in a weird way to see what happens. I'm sure there will be a lot of people that rip those masks off. I'm going to be one that still wears mine probably for a little while, honestly, just because that's mindset, not for forever, mind you, but for a little while at least. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, he's either going to be a genius and the rest of the world's going to follow suit, or we're going to find ourselves in even more trouble than we were in 2 weeks ago in this state. So I don't think anybody knows exactly yet, and we'll find out.
You know what I'd like to have at some point, and you know, it would be that someone to be able to make a decision without it being almost a 50-50 split on how people react to it, that it's not always tied to political nature. But, Paul, you make a good point about the timing, or that people completely freak out. I mean, I saw some people who, my God, goodbye, Texas, R.I.P. Texas. I mean, it's just one way or the other, and there's some that are thinking, Mike, I get to, like, walk into a business or a convenience store or without my mask on and not have to walk back to my car to go get it, which I've done many, many times, but I finally just used the rubber band and put it around my wallet. But that's one of the stories of today, and that affects everybody. That affects us. It affects Armstrong, who's producing. It affects everybody who's in business, and opening up the business is 100%. Doesn't mean they have to, but it gives them that option to do so.
Well, and I think you need to realize, too, that we don't know where everybody's coming from. I agree that there are nervous Nellies that are just going to be nervous over everything in their lives at all times, and those people need to take a chill pill and relax. But, you know, there are a lot of people that have died. There are a lot of people who have lost their father or their mother or their grandfather or their aunt, their uncle, their child, their parent because of this disease. And those people have every reason, for those out there that have been touched personally by it, to be a little fearful of this because they've seen the worst part of it. So I don't bemoan anybody for being uncertain about this, because I am myself, and there's those who have been hurt way worse by it. But yeah, I mean, there are the nervous Nellies out there that, like I said, are just going to be nervous about everything. So we'll see. I mean, we will see, and I'm sure we will see very quickly whether it's the right move or not.
You can wear the mask or you can't. It's up to you. You can make that decision, go out or not, or at least be safe and see who else is in your surroundings. But also today, and obviously the number one top of mind for so many people, Baylor and West Virginia. Number 3 ranked Baylor dropped the notch after the loss to Kansas, behind Michigan and Gonzaga, and also West Virginia. You know, I don't know what to feel about this game. I saw Bob Huggins, and boy, you need to listen if you're not a Bob Huggins fan, and I am. But there are, and I know he was the other day, I saw this up on the site about the back-to-back-to-back games, 3 games in Texas, staying in Texas, which they eventually changed that. West Virginia and Baylor didn't play last Thursday, and probably best for sure for Baylor after what we saw Iowa State and then Kansas. But Jerome Tang, in just a minute when we speak with him, when we have our conversation, what he thinks about Bob Huggins and what he used to think about Bob Huggins until he was able to see him at the college level as a college assistant coach. It's pretty mind-boggling what he said in a very positive way about Huggy. Paul and Craig, we've been in the press conferences. There's 2 or 3 guys that you see, like Frank Martin was that way. How are they going to react in a setting of a big win or even a bad loss? And they don't react the way most people actually think they might.
No, Bob Huggins, when you talk about leaving it all out there on the floor, that's what he does as a coach. Because when the press conference is on, even though sometimes it might be kind of backhanded or whatever, but he's just like, well, we played really well, and I feel like we should have rebounded a little bit better, but the other team's good too, and that's kind of his mantra. But I love almost everything about Bob Huggins. I mean, I love the way he coaches. I love the way that they run the press. I love all those things about him, and also I love that now, since we've had COVID, all college basketball coaches are dressing like Bob Huggins now. No suits, just the game gear up top.
What he said, Craig, in an article that I read, West Virginia newspaper, Morgantown, he said, listen, we went through something similar, but we never went through what Baylor went through. He goes, I cannot imagine my team, my players, having to not be able to do anything for nearly 20 days, because on the 21st day, Baylor, of course, had a practice, and then 2 days later, I think they played Iowa State. He said, my guys would have been jumping through the walls, and so I can't imagine with what they've been through. That doesn't mean he didn't want to go out and beat Baylor by 30 tonight, but he understands what Baylor's dealt with, because his kids were bouncing off the wall with a very short pause. And remember, the first game at West Virginia, I believe, was a cancellation because of West Virginia. The second game was because Baylor pushed everything back, but they're going to finally play this afternoon at 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bob Huggins is a great coach, and I think he's certainly mellowed a little bit. I mean, he still can be fiery when he needs to be, but I appreciate his role in college basketball, and I like that he's a bit more of a tame guy in some ways, a bit more likable of a guy than he was, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago when he was kind of one of the wild children of the college basketball coaching circles. He's a different guy in many ways since then. So, yeah, I think a lot of people have grown to appreciate and respect him a bit more because they've had this different look at him, and you can't help but respect how good his teams are and how good of a coach he is. So, yeah, I'm sure they would have been bouncing off the walls, but maybe they wouldn't have been. Maybe they would have been bedridden like Baylor basketball was, because they weren't just not practicing or not playing. A lot of these guys were sick. They were actually sick, and that was very evident in watching them the last 2 games out, that those were days removed from being sick, and they were still looking like that. So, yeah, he's very fortunate, and I don't know why Baylor time and again has been hit with this in pretty much every sport, whereas others have just coasted to blemish-free seasons, basically. It's incredibly frustrating, but, hopefully Baylor's got something in the gas tank today, because it would be really nice to go ahead and get this win. What a huge win it would be. I think it would cement any doubts that this is the best team in the Big 12, and I don't think there's many doubters out there, but for those that they go out and win today, there's no doubting. There's no argument that can be made that they're not the best team in the Big 12, and just for the sake of the fans, not having to, wait until the next game, and then oh my God, we lose Oklahoma State, and then oh my God, it's down to the final game against Texas Tech in a must-win to win a big title. So I hope they just take care of business, nip that in the bud, and they can kind of enjoy these last couple of games. And plus, I want to see this team win a Big 12 title. So tough opponent, tough coach to go up against, but I'm sure they're ready for the challenge.
Last year, remember, Baylor closed out the year. They lost at West Virginia by 12. They had beaten West Virginia in Waco. Scott Drew's 11-8 all time against West Virginia in his career as a head coach at Baylor. Now, one other note, the Oklahoma State, by the way, Thursday, they're coming to town. Cade Cunningham, if it's in every other game, that he's about to explode on Thursday because Oklahoma kept him down. But part of it is because he also recognized that they were not going to give up 40 to Cade Cunningham like they did over the weekend. And Oklahoma State comes to Waco on Thursday pretty hot, pretty darn good, with a lot of guys playing their best basketball of the year. So I know Baylor has to worry about tip-off in about 45 minutes to an hour, but my goodness, that ought to be interesting on Thursday, no matter what happens today in Morgantown.
Well, everybody's playing for seeding, and look, Cade Cunningham right now is the odds-on favorite to be the top pick in the draft. That's not, and he's one of those guys who's not the top pick in the draft because he was really good in AAU and they see the potential, and then you get kind of this spotty college performance, or they're sitting out a year. Like he's got skins on the wall to prove it, even though he's been out for COVID and some other things. But yeah, I mean, he scored 40 the other day. He's going to be in the running for National Player of the Year. All of those things are going to be on the table with Cade Cunningham. So yeah, when you've got a guy like that coming to town, that's big. That's big news. And Baylor didn't play against him the last time. He was still recovering from COVID and not ready to come back.
There's a stat that Fran Fraschilla put up about Cade Cunningham last night, and it was Oklahoma State is now 12-1 when Cade Cunningham takes 13 shots or less, averages 4 assists in those games. Whether it's 40 points or 14, it's about winning, and that's the kind of player he is. Last night, he gave up a lot of opportunities. He understood it wasn't his night. He fed everybody else, which makes them a better team. So that game will tip off at around just after 4 o'clock, and we'll keep you up to date on that. I know a lot of you will be watching the game and hopefully being able to keep up with what we're doing as well. The women last night, also in the Big 12 tonight, you have Texas Tech at home against TCU, so they should get above 500 in the conference. And then Texas at Iowa State. So Texas right now, 8-6 overall, should get to 9-6. So it looks like all 7 of the top 7 teams in the conference will be at least 500 or better based on what you expect to happen tonight. Kendall Brown and Langston Love are a part of the Sports Illustrated top 50 candidates for Sports Illustrated High School Basketball Player of the Year. They, of course, are going to be playing for Scott Drew and Baylor. The women won last night. It was ugly. They opened up in the third quarter like they did the first game. Nalissa Smith was fantastic. Now it's an outright conference championship for the 11th consecutive year. And Nalissa Smith also today named one of 11 semifinalists for the Naismith Trophy. Have you ever seen a girl with her height shoot the ball the way she does. Brittany Griner had a nice 8 to 12, 14-foot jumper, but NaLyssa Smith can hit the J and hit the three-point shot, which she hadn't done in a year. And last night, all of a sudden, she added that to her repertoire.
Yeah, Brittany was never about finesse, really, because she didn't have to be, So NaLyssa has a little bit more of that to her game, being able to do that. So, yeah, you've been adding the three. If she can stay on that kind of a roll, they need that. They don't, who's the dead-eye three-point shooter on this Lady Bear team? They don't really have one of those. And
Carrington probably. Dejanay's a really good player. She's their best outside shooter. Moon on occasion, but no, you're right. NaLyssa Smith adds that to the bunch. All right, one other note. Kramer Robertson today started in a Major League game, a spring game. Wainwright pitched. He was also on the field. He flew out to center field, fielded a ground ball, but he played today. After Carpenter started for the Cardinals, Kramer came in, had a chance to play with some of the big boys in a minor league game. So that was kind of neat to see that happen as well. And Paul, you're an historian. I'm not. 185 years ago today, Texas declared its independence from Mexico.
Yep.
108, and they might have done that today with Governor Abbott.
Yeah, well, I again, that's probably also part of the timing is, these things get kind of accelerated because political think tanks go, you know what, Texas Independence Day. We're always talking about how we can be separate from everything. So let's just go ahead and do it today, and there'll all be this synergy. And then people will forget that you didn't do your job. But as far as Texas Independence Day, yeah, this is a huge day for Texans. This is huge. This is the day that made us Texas, that made us what we are, and kind of I think this day kind of is the root of we're Texas and we don't need anybody else. I mean, this is the day of that. Like, sometimes that attitude is great. Sometimes it's probably, we could use some help from Louisiana. I don't know. You never know. But we're 50 states together, so sometimes you need a hand. But I do like that attitude. It's always my dad used to say, never ask a man where he's from. If he's from Texas, he'll tell you. If not, don't embarrass him.
Yeah, I love this state. I've lived in it every year since 1976, and then a little bit before that, in between going to Japan as a military brat as well. Craig, anything else on your radar? We're going to get to Jerome Tang here in just a moment. Also, Quentin Snell. Conley is 24-3, I think their record is. They're playing Silsbee. Silsbee 16-11, but they have been ravaged early on. They started I think it was 2-8 because of delays and COVID and pause. Beat Yates a couple of games ago. They'll play tonight. We'll hear from Quentin Snell as well. The long time, I think 23 years he's been the head coach at Conley. He'll join us as well today, or not quite 23 as the head coach. He'll join us right after Jerome Tang. Craig, anything else you saw today on your radar?
No, I mean, yeah, happy Texas Independence Day. I definitely think the timing is not coincidental. I think that was definitely intentional, that the announcement about the mask mandate was made there. Great day for Texans, I suppose. I'm sure there's a lot of people. It's not really, a holiday that I feel like a lot of people celebrate per se, but because of that mask order by Greg Abbott, I'm sure there will be a lot of people celebrating in a different way today. But yeah, I know. I think that's pretty much the main stuff. This game coming up at 4 is obviously really huge, and just looking forward to seeing how this Baylor men's team plays and how they bounce back, if they bounce back. And would be really nice to celebrate a Big 12 title later on tonight. So that's really kind of where my focus is at this point.
All right, well, go ahead.
I did want to bring this up, Smoak. I know it's kind of unrelated, but the Pac-12 announced their full football schedule today. So I do think this, at least it's a positive step forward for the Pac-12, and that they didn't wait for somebody else to do something.
Yeah. Also, if you've noticed, I think it might have been Texas in the last few days. Alabama yesterday. Girl Friday's the one that showed me this and asked me about asking Mac about it. I'll do this next week. They expect to be at 100% capacity for the upcoming 2021 football season. Remember, all of us kind of began to be affected by this a year ago, and it seems like it's been 5 years to me. But a lot of things we dealt with, both personally, professionally, health-wise, It was about now when a lot of this started to come blowing through the country, and then Texas was near the end of that. And Craig, you've discussed that when you were in Kansas City about to cover the Big 12 tournament, and then all of a sudden it was over. And that's supposed to be going on, I think it was about a year ago. So maybe not quite, maybe a year ago next week.
No, we got fired like the day after my birthday, so it was about 2 weeks.
March 18th was our official day.
Yeah, my birthday I think was on a Sunday.
Yep.
And when I didn't get a cake or a card on that Friday or on that following Monday, I knew something was going on, and sure enough. And I just want to thank all those people. It's been a great year. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes the negative can be an incredible positive. All right, when we come back, Jerome Tang was caught up in, of course, COVID. So was the team. We know that. I was able to get a feel from him. And you know what? He gave Kansas a lot of credit, as anyone should if they're paying attention. And Jerome Tang, Baylor's assistant men's basketball coach, next on SicEm365 Radio. Waco Custom Marketplace. I have been waiting for this information from Brian Bauer, and I got it. 30-pound bags of live crawfish sacks for $4.25 a pound. 30-pound live crawfish sacks now, $4.25 a pound. Here's the deal. It's here, and it's delicious, and they get it as well as anybody. You must place the orders for these bags of crawfish by Wednesday at 6 o'clock. You can call, you can go online, you can go by the stores, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco. Live crawfish, 30-pound bags, $4.25 a pound. You must place the orders at Waco Custom Marketplace by Wednesday by 6 o'clock. Pick up Friday after 2 or anytime while they're open on Saturday. So that's it. Live crawfish finally here and available at Waco Custom Marketplace as well. They also have fresh salmon fillets, $11.75 a pound. Cod fillets at $6 a pound. They have 5-pound bags of hush puppies and also the steak cut French fries. Boudin available for $3.35 a pound. Whole chickens $1.50 a pound, and even tri-tip at $3.99 per pound. It's Waco Custom Marketplace. 30-pound bags of live crawfish available, $4.25 a pound. You must order by Wednesday at 6, pick up after 2 on Friday, or anytime they're open on Saturday. 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Let Mcneil Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Mcneil Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Mcneil Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Mcneil Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.CamilleJohnson.com. Mcneil Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs. Even offering financing if that's needed, everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Get the vehicle you've been dreaming about at the President's Day event at Allen Samuels. The 2020 Dodge Charger SXT, ranked #1 in initial quality and driver appeal, has special values of $6,170 or 0% for 72 months, plus $3,000 in combo cash. The 2020 Dodge Charger is at the forefront of muscle car design. From the body to the wheels, it continues to impress. Visit the customer award-winning Allen Samuels, located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco, to see the 2020 Dodge Charger SXT. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
In Texas, there's pea-size hail and baseball-size hail. Guess which one hit our house? We didn't even know where to begin, but we called our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent, and he was so reassuring. He knew exactly what to do to get our house back into shape and our lives back to normal. Now, we're even more thankful for the roof over our heads.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
This is SicEm365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The SicEm365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
Baylor assistant head coach Jerome Tang from Morgantown. Game day with us on SicEm365 Radio. I know that wins, losses, Big 12, all that, West Virginia, but what's the mental makeup or the state of this team and the coaching staff right now, Coach?
Well, we're just trying to get 1% better every day, and we have to keep improving. Obviously, we had 3 weeks where we didn't get to improve. And so now every day, every film session, every walkthrough, we still haven't had a lot of practices, but every time we get on the floor, we're really encouraging the guys that they have to have a higher level of focus and just take advantage of every rep that we get, even the few reps that we can get in.
Not to try to be over dramatic here, but is it almost like you're having to learn to walk again and then run again and then, then go full blast again?
Yeah, maybe not that drastic, but it is a progress, and it's a progress of not just the basketball side of things, but just the physical side of things of guys. Each guy is starting to feel like myself. I'm starting to feel more like myself now. Well, each guy is starting to feel more like himself at a different pace, and this thing, coming back, people, some people come back physically but not mentally. Some people come back, mentally but not physically, and everybody, it happens a little bit differently, and but everybody's moving in the right direction, and the guys, you can, with every time we're together, you can feel the energy level raising and the enthusiasm and the focus and that joy that we play with. You can see that coming back.
Did you think that the team, a lot of these guys went through what felt like such a crushing blow when everything was shut down in March a year ago, and now is there any of the why us right now? Why of all times now?
No, because Coach Drew's done a really good job of framing it in that it was better for it to happen then. What was right now when it happened, and us be able to come back now than for it to happen in March, before the tournament. And so there's a blessing there in this, and now we can just focus on getting better every day.
So the legs, when you lose the conditioning or you lose that strength, is that why you think we see shots that are air balls that have been going in, or the rebounds are just not enough jump? Is not using it as an excuse. Kansas was really good on Saturday in what they did, but is it kind of hard to watch that right now because those are things that have normally go well?
Well, First of all, the biggest factor in us not playing well was the Kansas Jayhawks. Okay, that was the number one factor in that, and what they did, how they did it, and we give them all the credit for that. Secondly, when you go back and watch the film, we didn't have bad shots. There may be a couple, but for most part, we got some pretty good looks that in the past we'd have made. Now, whether that's because of the layoff, whether it's because Kansas wore us down so that we didn't have legs, whether, there's maybe a lot of factors, but the biggest factor was the Kansas Jayhawks.
So you're playing a team that we know is playing at a high level. Oklahoma State just had a back-to-back wins against Oklahoma. I know you have to worry about West Virginia, but you're about to take on a stretch of physicality with what KU's done, what West Virginia does. Is it almost the worst timing because of who you're playing, even though everything in the Big 12 is hard, and yet these games will, no matter what the results are, push you to a point where you'll be back at maybe the level physically you were?
Well, maybe it's the best timing. That we have these games lined up, and so our guys, they want to play against the best teams. Early in the season, we wanted to play, Arizona State and Villanova, and we wanted to play Gonzaga, and those games got canceled on us. And so now here at the end of the season, we want to play the best teams. The guys want to, every night they want to face those challenges, and the levels in the Big 12, we got 7 teams in the top 18 in the country. Mm-hmm. And so, it is what it is. That's why these guys came to Baylor. That's why they chose our university to have these types of opportunities. And so we're excited about the opportunity.
So obviously West Virginia is really, really good, 17-6. What do you do? What do you need to do? If the game plan, what do they do that maybe is a concern of yours and as you play them this afternoon?
Well, it's we're eerily similar. They have really good guards who can really shoot the basketball. Miles McBride is as good of a guard as there is in our league, and Sean Mcneil is last 3 games 21.5 points, 62.5% from 2, 57% from 3. He's playing at a really high level with a lot of confidence. Taz Sherman is another just dead-eye shooter, on the team. And then they've got, the big fella on the inside, only guy in the league averaging a double-double. And, he is a load. He commands a lot of attention. And, with the other 2 good Bridges is shooting 52% from 3. And they've got, Matthews, and then they'll bring Osaboyan off the bench. And so, they go 7-8 deep, and people talk about us having 8 starters. They've got 8 starters, and so it's a really evenly matched. Both teams like to do similar things in that our guards create spacing and for drives, and for scores their guards create spacing to allow Culver to play one-on-one in the post. We have to rebound better. We can't. Kansas out-rebounded us by 20 last year up here. I think we got out-rebounded by 17. And so we have to limit them to 1 shot as much as humanly possible. Now, I know that's one of their strengths, and so it's going to be a battle. And then we can't turn the ball over. And then at the end of the day, I think the team that makes shots is going to win, because both teams are going to play hard on both ends.
How much do you, when you see what Bob Huggins has done in his career, what he's done at West Virginia, what he did elsewhere, how impressed are you with what he's done?
Oh, man, Coach Huggins, I'm a fan, right? I tell this story all the time. I wasn't a fan when I was a high school coach and Coach Huggins was at Cincinnati. They'd only show those pictures of him, yelling or, just the media didn't paint him, and I'm not blaming anybody, but like as a high school coach, you watch and you see and you're like, man, I wouldn't want to play for that guy. But then I got to college and I started being on the inside and seeing him and meeting him and watching his K-State teams and then his West Virginia teams and watching. I remember the young fella, his player that got hurt in the Final Four. And watching Coach Huggins with him at the free throw line, the kid is laying on the ground and Coach Huggins is crying as he's and you just say, man, I'd want my son to play for him. That's a guy I could play for. And having the scout for all these years and just watching what he does with his teams and how hard his kids play for him and how much they love him. And, Coach Huggins is a Hall of Famer. He should already be in the Hall of Fame. And just a terrific man. When he's just such a likable person. I have the utmost respect for Bob Huggins and his staff, Coach Harrison and Coach Martin. Those guys are just terrific human beings, man.
By the way, Coach Huggins, when he was talking about your situation at Baylor, the 21 days, he said, I can't imagine what they've been through with the 20 days. I know our guys would have gone absolutely crazy, absolutely nuts. They've been through trying to sneak into practice facilities, or they would have tried to do something. How much do coaches share the experiences each team has been through this COVID, the pauses, the postponements, the positives, and all of that?
I know that Coach Drew speaks with the other head coaches, and he's got a group of guys that he bounces things off of. We have a group of assistant coaches in the Big 12, BACA, the Black Coaches, Black Assistant Coaches Alliance, and we've gotten together to talk about things that we can do to help our student athletes and with everything that they're being faced. And since those relationships formed during the pandemic, now, they're guys that I consider friends, and we can bounce information off of each other. Anything that has to do with helping the student athlete, and especially coming back from these things or things that they're going through. So we talk to each other and share with each other, because it's all about helping all of our athletes have the best experience and just give each other information that can help a person and a player make it through what's going on.
Jerome Tang with us. Just a couple of more questions. Are you concerned if your team has lost their confidence because of what they have dealt with emotionally and physically, and then also on the court?
It always, whenever you lose a game, whenever you don't feel like yourself, confidence is a very shaky thing that, it's hard to get and easy to lose. But we have a group of veteran guys, and we teach them not to trust the result, but trust their work. And the work that they've put in to get to this point, they can lean on that. Not whether the shot goes in or not, but they can lean on the thousands of shots they've taken, the thousands of reps, the thousands of sprints, just all the things that they've done. We just trust their work, and that if they trust their work, they're going to be fine. And the fact that we have veteran guys who are going to encourage each other, and we're going to keep moving forward, we're going to be all right.
How critical was it to go from Lawrence to Morgantown, even though you haven't had much time in between Saturday night, a late game, and even an afternoon game on a Tuesday? How much do you think that might have helped decompress just a little bit between games?
No, that was a terrific idea by A.D. Malhotra and Coach Drew for us to leave straight from Lawrence. We spent the night. Guys got a good night's rest, got up, traveled, and was able to be here on Sunday. And so, I think that was very, very critical in allowing our guys to be able to rejuvenate quicker.
One final thing. If, in fact, you guys are successful in Morgantown, and I know you're going to have to play well because they're very good and you're very good, can you imagine just what that would mean, despite it all, and what you've been through as a team, even if maybe it doesn't work out today? But can you imagine how proud you guys will be if your team can somehow go into Morgantown today and come out with a win and clinch that Big 12 title?
And I'm trying not to let myself get there and just think about what we have to do, the things we have to do to win the game, not what results from winning the game. But I would be lying if I didn't say that, thinking about the water shower in the locker room and the just the feeling for the players, of the accomplishment. So it's all there. It's all there in front of us, and it's going to happen. And we're excited for this opportunity, and we'll be excited for the next one.
Jerome, thanks for your time. Appreciate you. Glad you're feeling better, man. Good luck today in Morgantown.
Thank you.
Jerome Tang, assistant head coach with Baylor. This is SicEm365 Radio.
If you are in the market for a new home or looking to buy a home for yourself or sell your current home, then you need to call my good friend Lance Donaldson and the Donaldson family team, brokered by eXp Realty. 254-214-3713. Look him up on Google, Lance Donaldson, eXp Realty. It'll take you right to his page, and you can look at all the cool listings that he has, all those that he has. Those are just his listings. But outside of those listings, he will find you that dream home. He will make it his personal goal in life. Like, he really enjoys what he does. He really enjoys getting to know people, and you're going to enjoy getting to know Lance. He's a unique guy. He's a fun guy. You're going to have fun looking at houses with Lance. You're going to be able to trust him with those details to get you the best price for a house, get you the best sale price for your house, and find you that dream home, maybe even with some features you didn't know that you always wanted. So if you're in the market for a new home or trying to sell the one you're in, Lance Donaldson and the Donaldson family team, brokered by eXp Realty, 254-214-3713, or online, lancedonaldson.exprealty.com.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Are you a SicEm365 superfan? Then try out our premium subscriptions at SicEm365.com.
Snell, a long-time and successful boys basketball coach at Conley, with us on SicEm365 Radio. Well, here you are again. You guys are kind of making a pretty good, I guess you could say, resume out of this. I know it's not always been to this level, but your thoughts about, with all of what you've dealt with, this team, and where you are now on in the regional semifinals, today with Silsbee.
First off, Smoak, thank you for having me on, man. This is, a time where it's, really kind of unprecedented. We've never had the opportunity to, play any sports or, do anything to that fact in a pandemic. So, we've really been, trying to do a really good job with our kids and, following the protocols and all those things. And hats off to our administration and all the people that are involved in those decision-making processes, our athletic director, Coach Anderson, for just, finding a way for our kids to have an opportunity to play sports, the UIL, everybody that plays a part in this thing, man. It's just an honor, and we're grateful that we get this opportunity to play.
It has almost been like, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but I'm asking you, at times it's like we're in a blur or a bad dream, and yet there are exhilarations along the way.
Yeah. You say that, but it's been kind of up and down. It's really been different, just trying to navigate through all the things that, we have to do in order for our young people to be able to have some sort of, normalcy. We got guys who are, even all our students, some of them are remote and some of them are face-to-face. So, athletics and the opportunity for them to compete in UIL activities or extracurricular activities kind of gives those kids some normalcy. At our school, we also have the ROTC program that a lot of our kids are involved with. So they continue to try to do those things that seem for the most part normal for our kids. But yes, it's been kind of a blur, and when you say a blur, it's like happened really fast. It started in August, and I was telling, our assistant coaches, man, like at Christmas time, I was like surprised that we were able to play, 14 games at the time. At some point we thought it could have been over, so now we're, round 4 of the playoffs and, still having this opportunity to participate in athletics.
I know you got to win tonight, and then all of a sudden, then you'd get to a regional final. But what is it like to be at this point? You've been here many times. I saw the quote in the paper where you weren't sure, 7, 8, whatever. But you've been in this position many, many times. What's it like to be knocking on the door?
Oh, it's good, man. It's just it's the fact that our kids have, all the teams that I've been, a part of that have been to this point, they get a chance to, try to see how far they can take it. We get to this point and we always play, tradition-rich programs. Hardin Jefferson the first couple of times we went, and then we played Yates, like 3 times, and Silsbee. This is, I think, our second or third time playing Silsbee. But it's just a great opportunity for our kids to try, experience something really special. So for me, being here, so many times, man, I like to win. And I said a lot. I mean, I like to win. But just the fact that, we get a chance to take it as far as we can is a blessing in itself.
How much does the carryover in the recent success, and you've had success well before the football team started experiencing some success the last 2 or 3 years, how much does that carry over into basketball if a football team has a nice run?
I think it carries over because for the most part, the basketball team that I've coached the past several years have all been football players, so they've all experienced what it's like to have those extra practices during the playoffs, like during football season, getting the opportunity to practice on Thanksgiving, which is a goal of our football program, and things like that. So, just the extra time to try to develop and to get better. And more than that, you get a chance to compete. And that's what this is all about, us trying to, instill certain values in our kids to get them to let them know that every day, even after high school, you'll be competing for something. So we never want them to, to feel, slighted or anything to that effect, but just to be ready to compete at all times.
Quentin Snell's the head coach at Conley. They play Silsbee tonight in the regional semifinals. Coach, you have Conley throughout your blood. I mean, you went to school there. You graduated, I think, in '88. Then went on to Midwestern, play football. But this is in your blood. What is it like to coach your alma mater and then also have success there?
It's good that our administration and all the people that I've had a chance to work with would give me the opportunity to come back home and and try to do something special. When you graduate from college and you play college football and you go into coaching, you probably want to, maybe be a football coach or something, a head football coach. But an opportunity presented itself to me 21 years ago to be the head coach of a program at my high school. And so, I took it and, roadblocks, bumps and bruises, all those things that come with it. And we're grateful for that because we get a chance to learn from, the things that, we may not be as good at. But having a chance to do it at my school when I came back to teach, some of the same teachers that taught me were still there. So it was easy for me to transition into that to that particular spot teaching, talking to some of my old teachers. I'm gonna throw a couple names out there. Mrs. Becerra, Miss she was Karen Lee, was Karen Davis. Just a lot of Rose Volchik. I mean, just a lot of great people that opened their arms to me when I finally came back. And still, there were some coaches on the coaching staff that I got a chance to work with that coached me. Manuel Ardonis, late Ernie Sanchez, Max Hibbets, Dale Snelling. There's just, I'm probably missing a few, but there's just the fact that you can come back, it kind of feels comfortable a little bit. The problem with someone probably didn't think I'd get to college, and not only get to college, get a degree.
Right.
So, but when I came back, they welcomed me, and I kind of want to do the same thing. Try to give some of that. That love that was given to me, and give it back to those who come back. But I mean, I'm grateful, man.
Yeah, you sound it. There's no question. And Coach Anderson said you're as good a basketball coach. You're even a better football coach, and what you've meant to the school, your alma mater as well. So Silsbee, if people look at their record, they're gonna go, wait a minute, because we know that they have been in that Hardin Jefferson, Houston Yates, whatever, and they just beat Yates by 15. They're 16-11. What's wrong with their record? Something's missing here.
That record is not indicative of what kind of team they are. They're really talented. They're young, kind of like us, but they're really, really super talented. Those guys play hard. Coach Sigler over there and his staff do a great job. I mean, they're, like I said before, they're tradition rich. I think they've had some COVID issues where they probably had to, some kids may have had to miss, or they may have to go, not with a full roster. But that record, it doesn't matter now. You know what I mean? The records don't matter. You're in the playoffs. You're in the round of 16. So none of that matters. It comes down to what's going to happen tonight on that court, and I guarantee our guys and their guys they're gonna get after each other, and it's going to be a really good game.
Quentin, good luck tonight, man. Congratulations. I know you have much more you want to accomplish. Good luck tonight against Silsbee. Thanks for your time, okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Connolly Cadets basketball coach Quentin Snell on SicEm365 Radio.
The First National Bank of Central Texas, 5 locations right here at home. Waco, Woodway, Hewitt, China Spring, Martin, Hillsboro. Familiar faces making local decisions, here to help you, your family, or your business. Whether it's great times or tough times, all of us need a bank we can count on. Great people with great technology dedicated to their customers and helping our area grow. Safe banking in person or use their online and mobile apps, and convenient drive-through and ATMs at all locations. And look, they've got everything the big banks have. They've got the First mobile app. Do your banking wherever you are. Check balances, make transfers, pay bills, transfer funds. Easy as pie to do it. They do personal and mortgage loans. They're great. Look, they've got a great staff. With Monty Hulse, Randall Crawford, Sloan Keel, Joe Barrow, Mackie Bonner helped me with a loan. Jan Coleman, Link Harris helped me get my home loan. The Rhonda Crawford, Brian Hand, Lisa Ogletree, Dan Ingham, and just announced Sam Brown is joining the First National Bank of Central Texas. A lot of you who've been around here know Sam Brown has been in the banking business for a long time, and Sam Brown joining the First National Bank of Central Texas is a big deal because that makes a great bank even greater. Look, you want local people having your back. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. They've got it for you. 5 locations right here at home.
We've sent the nomination forms to area high school counselors for the 11th annual Academic All-Stars team, and we will find 20 elite student athletes who excel in both academic and athletic competition from Central Texas high schools. Hello, everyone. This is David Smoak. Our title sponsor is Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, protecting Texans since 1952. The 2021 Academic All-Stars program is also brought to you by Westdale Asset Management, Englander Design Pack, Southwest Sports Medicine, Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Coca-Cola of Waco, Ray Broker Air Conditioning and Heating, Texas Sports Hall of Fame, HEB, the McLean Group, Universal Windows Direct, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, and the Waco Foundation are 501c3. Nomination deadlines March 31st. We'll eventually announce the team on Monday, May 3rd. Honor them at our annual banquet on Wednesday, May the 19th. It's the 11th annual Academic All-Stars team highlighting the elite student athletes in Central Texas right here on SicEm365 Radio.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's Tasty Oak Smoked Barbecue.
Next in line.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care.
And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Another shot fake. And the drive and the layup. And one for Jared Butler.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
Man, what a day it's been, huh? It's been a day where not just in the state of Texas, but other states as well, making decisions on the mask mandate. Joe Biden, President Biden, making a comment or a decision on the vaccine, and for teachers. A lot of that going on right now. Plus, of course, in about maybe a few seconds, Baylor and West Virginia tip-off in Morgantown. We will have Mack Rhodes, Baylor Director of Athletics, with us in about 15 or 20 minutes or so, and we will get into the complex, the football ops, the arena, the field house, and all of that. It's an interview that I recorded because obviously he'll be busy. So if you don't hear it because you're watching a game or you don't get all of it, Craig's going to tweet some of the quotes, but we'll also have it up in the podcast reel and also on our Twitter timelines as well. Well, we mentioned this to start the show. Governor Abbott announcing that next Wednesday, the mask mandate, business is allowed to be 100% capacity. A lot of people are reacting to it, and not even about those who are positive or negative, but a lot of people are reacting to it because that doesn't mean they have to. They can make their own decisions. I just saw Superintendent Kincannon at Waco High release a statement. I've seen the Stars release a statement. Baylor will have a statement about what they can and cannot do. So, but Mississippi now saying that they're going to release it, I think, almost effective immediately. So we're seeing a lot of changes right now around not just Texas, but the country, with this being March the 2nd, when it comes to mask mandates and the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, that's what kind of makes me a little bit nervous, just that, one state makes a decision, the other one, are you doing it because it's the right thing to do, or are you doing it because politics dictate that if somebody else does it, you have to as well? That's what really makes me nervous. I'm happy that we're to a point where, there's a good part of my brain that says, okay, I think we can navigate this, but I do worry about, the whole optics of everything. You're doing it just because of, well, hey, Texas did it. We're Mississippi. We'll do it. Who's next? Everybody get in line. Let's do it. And then if we're not ready, then we're not, then we're putting ourselves behind anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems pretty out of nowhere. I don't know what anything science-wise, I don't know of anything science-wise that has been said that, occurred lately that led to him making this decision today. This seems pretty out of nowhere and seems very much like hey, don't pay attention to what happened 2 weeks ago when, dozens of people died from hypothermia in a state because we didn't have electricity because we didn't properly plan for it. So, I don't really have a personal opinion on Greg Abbott one way or the other, quite frankly, but I just saw a quote from him where he announced the mandate and then went on to say, however, he stresses personal vigilance is still needed to contain COVID, and we should continue following medical advice. I'm pretty sure the medical advice said to wear masks. So, bit of a mixed message there. Hey, to each their own. There's people that didn't wear masks anyways. I saw them constantly. Chest puffed out, I'm not wearing a mask, and so those people are not going to wear masks. I wear a mask all the time. I'm going to continue to wear a mask, even though I don't have to now, because that's my personal choice. So everybody will make their own personal choice, and we'll see where Texas is in about, a month and a half once things have been opened up all the way. It's 50-50. Could be, hey, great decision by Abbott, and he led the way, and look, America's getting back to some normalcy.
or it can be disastrous, kind of like the entire state was 2 weeks ago. So with him, it's 50-50, and we will see.
Well, the bottom line is that he made the decision. It's out there. Everyone will react accordingly. The various states, whatever. And again, like I said in the first segment, what I hope one day happens is that someone, whether in a political position or not, can make a decision and it won't be shredded one way or the other 50%. Yeah. One day. It's never going to happen again. Ever since the hanging Chad. But Baylor off to a 4-0 start, by the way. Maceo Teague with a running layup. And the Bears at West Virginia. Something that's important, now whether they can keep the gas on remains to be seen. We'll see, but it's 4-0 Baylor. Mack Rhodes coming up in the next segment.
Yeah, I wonder how West Virginia approaches them, because they West Virginia presses, but they don't press 100% of the time, right? But do you press a little bit more if you see this team getting tired? Do you really put it on them West Virginia style if you see them, especially 16 minutes from now towards the end of the first half where they might be sucking a little wind and not be able to get some of their depth out there? Yeah, maybe you go full tilt.
I pressure the hell out of them.
Yeah.
I do what I do best. Whatever West Virginia does best, that's what I do. I don't change because they may be coming off a pause, but they're going to go full throttle at you no matter what. If, in fact, when it dictates based on how Baylor's playing on the offensive end as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll they're going to do what they do. Derek Culver just drained a couple of free throws, and he is an exciting player to watch, and he's going to be a tough matchup for them all day long.
So did we lose Craig, or is he just his video? Because it's a beautiful green.
Yeah.
I think we lost. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it changed like that. I'll try and figure that out.
That's okay, but it's a pretty green. I guess it's a perfect timing. St. Patrick's Day is around the corner, but also so is Baylor as they have a 4-2 lead over West Virginia, and in fact may have just gotten a possibility of an and one. So that's what's going on. We mentioned earlier that the other games tonight in the Big 12, there's a couple of other games. Both of them you would think would go with UT and Texas Tech. Texas Tech is at home against TCU, and Texas plays at Iowa State. Where West Virginia's last 4 games are at home, UT's last 4 games, including the rest of this week, are on the road. And Baylor was able to have theirs split up with Kansas, West Virginia on the road, Oklahoma State, and Texas Tech on Thursday and Sunday. Yeah, of course, those games are at home.
Texas, this probably just kind of crept up on them without anybody really realizing it or saying anything. But Texas had this weird thing where they had their last home game last week, and I bet you that it was this is our last home game? How did this work out this way?
Yeah,
but because of all the reschedulings, that's just how it wound up. So
I just mentioned this as well, that both Kendall Brown and Langston Love, who are both going to play for Baylor, high school players, are among the top 50 Players of the Year candidates, Sports Illustrated's High School Basketball Player of the Year. That was released yesterday evening, so that's going on as well. That's great news for the men's basketball team because another level coming at it. 10-2 Baylor early on as they hit a 3 early. Jared Butler, that's huge because we know obviously he was struggling badly in Lawrence on Saturday night.
Yeah, he was. It was not a great day for him, so that's good to see him hitting a shot early. I see how this thing plays out. I mean, obviously we could update it every bucket, and it's going to change a lot. So hopefully he's hitting shots, and we'll continue to hit shots for the rest of the afternoon.
Well, he just hit another on a runner off the glass. It's 12-2. We're not going to do that because we got to be careful about play-by-play with Baylor out to a 12-2 lead on West Virginia.
And the key for Baylor, this is a team that has a great offense, but everything flows through their defense. The reason that their offense is so prolific is because it's like rolling through like a wall of knives on defense. Like they don't let up on defense. Kansas and obviously Iowa State a little bit were able to kind of exploit that. They were not able to play their full caliber of man-to-man defense where they're just up on you all the time. They weren't able to do that the last couple nights. So far early in this game, they have been, and that feeds their offense. They're not an offensive team that feeds their defense. They're the other way around and have been for about 3 years now.
Which is part of what has been their success this year is how when they need to squeeze, Like when a game's close, and we've seen that happen many times early in the second half, including their game at Texas, where the game was back and forth. And then next thing you know, here comes the boa constrictor, and they're up by 10, 12, 14 points.
Yeah, it's really weird. Armstrong, we got some audio feedback. There we go.
Yeah, we got some feedback back. Craig Smoak, Paul Catalina, and David Smoak, Sic'em365 Radio. Yeah, it is weird, though, that they, like, this used to not be a team that was, their defense was always kind of scattershot, you know, but I do think, and this is something that when somebody writes a book about Coach Drew, one of the things needs to be mentioned is that he has always changed with whoever he's got. You know, he didn't have a team for a long time that had guys that could really run man-to-man defense. It was just not their thing. And they do all the time. So it's what they needed. Just look good. It could be 8-6 West Virginia. It's 12-2 Baylor, timeout, but they're letting them play a little bit inside as well, and Baylor's been able to get, I thought, a couple of times where there's been some contact with West Virginia. So it's 12-2, timeout, and not that you have to start fast, but if this would be the opposite way, what would we think right now?
Oh dear God.
Yeah,
here we go.
It's going to take forever. Because that's what happened when they played Kansas, and even on Tuesday last week at home against Iowa State. I did mention this. Oklahoma State beating Oklahoma last night. As we start this 4 o'clock hour, Mac Rhodes will join us in the next segment. Also today, David Hellman, the DallasCowboys.com. Also today, John McClain, Houston Chronicle, NFL Hall of Fame writer. And then also today we'll have Kevin Curtis, Baylor quarterbacks coach, will join us. First time we've been able to have a chance to visit with him. It'll be late in the 5 o'clock hour.
By the way, guys, I think you'll enjoy Hellman today. I decided that I'm not going to talk about Dak Prescott, you know, in the abstract anymore. Like we went through what I call Cowboys draft scenario A, which is where everything is normal and Dak Prescott's the quarterback and we don't speculate.
How refreshing was that?
It was lovely. It was very lovely. Hellman actually mentioned, like, I'm glad we're not talking about it. Yeah, it's nice.
How refreshing is that? And March 9th is what? A week from today, right, yeah. Paul?
I would equate it to going over, like, of course, this didn't happen this much this year because of COVID, but like in an election year, like going over to someone's house for dinner, like 3 nights before the election, and nobody talked about it. It was that kind of refreshing.
Never bother me. I would love that. I would love it if it was 3 weeks before the election.
Yeah, whatever it is, but you're just right there, and like there's election going on, and nobody brings it up, and you're like, oh, this is a lovely quiche that you served.
Quiche? What the hell?
Fine.
Why couldn't it have been pot roast or something?
Hey, listen. Quiche is eggs. It's egg pie. There's nothing bad about it.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh. So, okay. All right. West Virginia comes out of the break with a couple of points. Hey, it's a very interesting day. Twitter is going to implode today, right? Because of Governor Abbott, because of the other states following suit, because of capacity of stadiums and crowds. Twitter today, I think I'm just going to shut it down, which is probably what I should do more often, and I have been. And Craig, you mentioned that. You basically don't get on it as much, and it's kind of refreshing because of the idiots. No matter who you agree with or not, it's just crazy.
Have we lost Craig?
We may have lost him completely, I guess, huh? No, he's muted. Craig is muted right now. That's what it is. Okay, Craig, there you go. Yeah.
I literally haven't touched anything on my screen since our last break. I don't know what's going on. I have to restart my computer or something. But
well, we'll be able to do that when we get to the Mac Road, so that'll be okay.
Well, what were we even talking about just a second ago?
Well, my question is, today's a great day to stay off of Twitter because there won't be everyone will be on it, but with all the decisions being made about masks and mandates and all that, today's a great day just to shut it down and not even look, because everyone is going to implode. It already has across the world for everyone who thinks the world is run by Twitter.
Well, I didn't like the habit I fell into that probably a lot of people have, this habit of waking up and what's the first thing you do? You don't go take a pee or eat breakfast. You check Twitter, right? Like a lot of people do that. And Like, I just don't think humans are built to have all of this knowledge continuously plugged in their head about every topic under the sun and all of these thousands of opinions all at one time. I just don't think it's good for our mental psyche. I think it's good that people have a platform to voice their opinion, but so much of it is incredibly ugly or false, or just people just using the thoughts that are typically reserved to just stay in their head and feeling the need to blast them across the world to people. I don't know. I just don't enjoy it as much. I get on there and I've gotten out of the habit of checking it right away in the morning, because if the news isn't good that day, you're automatically in a bad mood. You know why? Because of Twitter? Like, that's just dumb, right? So that's kind of the way that I've thought about it. And I still like the app for the bits of news, and then I'll tweet out some macro stuff here in a little while. But, like, I'm just not going to let social media affect my mood, and I'm not going to let it drill into my head a bunch of stuff that, quite frankly, doesn't need to be drilled into my head. I mean, I was thinking about today, I went on there, and like the first 10 posts, and I'm not even exaggerating, was 5 people bitching about one thing, and then 5 people piling on to like Jane Slater over her intern thing. You know, it's just like, why am I on here? Like, what is the point of this? Because I got one note out of like 20 posts that I saw that were all just negative people being hateful towards each other. I just don't have, it just doesn't have the appeal to me that it once did, because so much of it has become just noise, and there's so very little of it that's actually beneficial, I feel like, to me. So I just try to move in and move out quickly, find what I need to find, and I don't spend time on there like just having conversations. It doesn't do it for me.
By the way, all right, I totally have Jane's back.
Yeah, I know. The discussion about her trying to help somebody get their foot in the door with an internship that was non-paid, that's another story. That's another show. And I hated the way people made that look for her. All right, it's 15-7. West Virginia has scored most of their points at the free throw line with players that have been fouled in the act of shooting. 15-7 Baylor. 14:40 to go in the first half. When we come back, Mack Rhodes, Baylor's Director of Athletics, on many things, including Baylor basketball and the arena and or fieldhouse and or football ops. And this is SicEm365 Radio.
2021's here, and you can make it great by starting big at the New Year New Ride Savings Event at Richard Carr. It's stimulus and refund check time, so if the government gave you some of your money back, take it and multiply it with savings at Richard Carr. You can find big savings like a 2018 GMC Sierra or a 2019 Buick Encore for $16,800. That's $16,800. Or get an almost new 2020 Honda Civic for only $21,900. Payments on late model cars and trucks for under $200 a month for qualified buyers. They have hundreds of used cars and trucks priced to move during the New Year New Ride Savings Event. You can also get 0% for 72 months on a new 2021 Buick Encore with payments of $318 a month and no money down, or get a money-saving lease on the stylish, intelligent, and nimble 2021 Buick Encore GX Preferred with on-the-go Alexa technology for only $293 a month. And during the New Year New Ride Savings Event, all pre-owned cars and trucks are priced to move with amazing deals. So maybe your credit's as bad as 2020. Well, it's a new year, and 100% credit approval is the goal in 2021. So bring your tax refund or your stimulus check to Richard Carr, and they will stimulate your stimulus with even bigger savings that will pay off for years. Go to Richard Carr Motors today for details and a test drive, or log on to richardcarr.com now and have them bring the test drive to you. Make 2021 the best year ever, starting with a new car or truck during the New Year New Ride Savings Event at Richard Carr.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
During the President's Day event, Allen Samuels has special pricing on a new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited with values up to $3,250 or 0% for 72 months, plus $1,000 in combo cash. Or a 2021 Jeep Cherokee. The new Latitude Plus has up to $6,000 in total values or 0% interest for 72 months and $1,250 in combo cash. Allen Samuels award-winning customer service. The best place to find your next SUV. Located at 201 West Loop 340. Allen Samuels is your friend in the car business.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Waco's newest gym, Halo Athletic Center, 5725 Bagby Avenue, right behind Region 12 and across the highway from the Central Texas Marketplace, where motivation, inspiration, and hard work are the driving force. State-of-the-art equipment, indoor and outdoor track, locker rooms, showers, yoga and bar classes by Duality Yoga, bod pod potty composition analysis, and registered dietitians, all under one roof, where we rise above. Come join the Halo Athletic Center and be a part of the change, your change.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Our weekly segment with Baylor Director of Athletics, Mac Rhodes, is brought to you by Edward Jones Investments Brokers. Tom Albers, Brad Wilson, Ben Erlinson, and Cam Heathcott. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Baylor Athletic Director Mac Rhodes with us on SicEm365 Radio, and we do this as you're on it's game day. So I want to have fun off the top. Not that you're nervous, your team's playing for a Big 12 title and you're trying to figure out who they are. So if I gave you make it $10,000 shopping spree at Costco that you had to do at 4 o'clock today, or watch the men's basketball team, what would you do?
Wow, tempting, very tempting. but I would watch us play the number 6 team in the country. Kind of unique, right?
Yeah.
Kicking off at 4 o'clock, and man, what a great game. Looking forward to it.
Mac, how difficult is it watching what you've seen from them because of what they went through, the 21-day pause? And I know that they're trying to figure themselves out. KU was fantastic. Iowa State played well as well. But how difficult is it watching them, who they are now compared to where they were before the pause?
Yeah, it's hard. You know, when you're having the conversations, when Scott and I are talking, or Kenny and I are talking, or Dave Snyder, we're talking, right? And you're just, the reality of it, right? We can't expect to be the same and just pick up right where we left off, right? And you have those conversations and you leave them. And, you just initially, at least I do, I'm like, no, we're going to be okay. Right. We'll be ready to go. Right. But then you see it, and reality is reality, right? You're faced with it. And that's, not to take anything away from, as you said, Iowa State or Kansas. Iowa State played really, really well, and Kansas is playing the best basketball, their best basketball of the year. But we're not who we were before we went into the layoff because of COVID. And so now, you're hoping that, we can get back there sooner rather than later. There's no doubt in my mind we will get back there. And I'll say this. I don't know that we, had played our best even pre-COVID layoff. And so I even think that there's even this next level, and it's just going to be a matter of, how much time it takes us to get there. But it's hard. It's hard to watch, or it was hard to watch.
I asked this to Scott on Monday, his media session for today's game. How tempting would it have been to continue to just not play? And is there any concern that was there pressure? And where did that come from, if there was? Because I know that, there's chatter and there's like, hey, you got to get to a certain number. How difficult was that decision to get back to actually playing a game when you really only had the one practice before the game with Iowa State?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, a lot of conversation and really maybe less conversation and more listening to our doctors and just making sure, that we're not putting our student athletes in any jeopardy, right? And also as a member institution in what I think is the best basketball conference in the country, right? We all put our hands in and said, here's the protocol, here's the minimum number of scholarship student athletes, right? You have to have to play, right? And we all made a pledge to do that, and to again, as long as it was safe. And so just, following that and using that as our guide, and then, along with, again, the readiness of our student athletes to return, and health and safety, as followed by our medical people. The decision really, was made for us, so to speak. And, we did what we thought was best, first and foremost, for our student athletes. We did what we thought was best for our program, and what we thought was best for the conference. And again, as I said before, knowing that it was going to be a struggle, but maybe hoping that it really wasn't going to be. And so, a dose of reality hit on Saturday night against Kansas. And, we've got great kids. Man, they're such unbelievable kids, and they've got great resiliency, and they'll bounce back.
When you watch these athletes and the coaches, I had a chance to visit with Jerome Tang. Scott's had it, Jerome's had it, many of them have had it. And you told us even a couple of weeks ago more had it than not, which meant a pretty nice chunk. When you watch what they're going through, how much does that get to you? That as someone who loves your student athletes the way you do, like they're your own children or their own brothers or sisters or whatever, how much does that take out of you at times?
Yeah, it does. Quite frankly, there's days when it bothers you, when you sit there and you maybe second guess and ask, should we be doing this? Because they're going through a lot. They're going through a lot physically. I think they're even going through a lot mentally, and that's not just men's basketball. That's all of our student athletes, right? So there's those snippets of thought of moments, right, where you think that, and I think I keep going back to two things. One, can we do this safely, first and foremost, and do our student athletes want to play? Do they want to compete? And I think if you still ask them that question today, given everything that's transpired, I think they would tell you, yeah, we want to compete, we want to do this, but I also would believe that they would tell you, man, I hope we don't have to do this again. I hope we don't have to go through this another year, because it's been hard. It's been hard on
on them. And I'll speak for Baylor student athletes, but they're unbelievable. They're warriors, and we've asked them to do a lot. We've asked them to completely change how you live your life normally, and they've done it with little or no complaints. And again, I've got great admiration, and as you said, we love them like they are our own children. So
Kim the other day mentioned this. Kim Mulkey, and of course we'll get to that because they won another Big 12 title, 11 consecutive years, which is crazy good. But she mentioned, imagine all of you who had gone to college and what it would have been like if you would not have been able to enjoy or experience truly a college life for a semester or for 2 semesters or for a year and a half or whatever. And that kind of hit home to me because, I never had to deal with anything like that. I went to class, I enjoyed myself, I did intramurals, whatever, and that really hit me because they aren't able to enjoy what should be some of the most prime times of their life.
Yeah, and enjoy, and part of the enjoyment is sharing it with people that you love and that you're close to, and man, they haven't been able to do that, right? And you just think about which we take for granted, but you think about being in this bubble, right? When the NCAA tournament and the Big 12 tournament, right? You're not going to be able to interact with your family. You're not going to be able to go get a hug from mom or from dad or from sis or from brother or any of those things, right? And so it's just been a different way of life, and they've managed it, and again with little or no complaints at all, with a smile on their face, and that's why I truly believe I've got the best job in the world, because I get to be around just incredible young people, right, and incredible staff, and they're resilient, as I said, and they continue to work, and we think just narrow-mindedly just about the athletic piece, the performance piece, but man, what they're doing in the classroom, right? And you think that online coursework is automatically easier, where for many people it's harder, right? It's harder to be engaged, it's harder to follow online, and yet they're doing it, right? We're setting records, the best all-time graduation success rate, the best on record ever, GPA of a 3.35. I mean, so we've got incredible young people that continue to amaze me each and every day.
Kim Mulkey and her team have now won 11 consecutive conference titles. You knew of her success before you arrived. What they do, and they had their own battle back early in the year where they were on pause, and then when they came back, lost to Iowa State, and they obviously were not themselves, and they've battled through it. I know women's basketball, the depth is not what it is in men's basketball, but that should never take away the continuity, the consistency, the constant, no matter who's making a run at her or her program, how good they have been.
Yeah, I think we almost take it for granted, and we never should, right? Winning a championship, winning one is hard. It's difficult, right? Let alone 11 consecutive regular season titles. By the way, I was asking our communications folks, where does that stand? And right now, that's the longest active streak in the NCAA, and it's tied for the 5th most of all time. And just to think about the consistency, just every year to do it right, the standard, and it takes a lot of work each and every year to hold your student athletes, your staff, everybody that's involved with the program to that standard. And to some degree it becomes automatic, but you can never rest, right? And you got to continue to always fight, scratch, and claw. And so the consistency is it truly is, it's remarkable. When you just think about 11 years. That's a long time to be on top. And I don't know the stats, but just think about, sports in general, both college and pro. You think about the UCLAs in men's basketball, maybe the New England Patriots in pro football. There aren't many that win at this level, right, for that amount of time. And so really a testament to Kim and the coaching staff, and again to our kids.
So I put up this question, and it went off on the message boards, which sometimes that anything you put up in the message boards, God knows what might happen to it. But so I asked this question. I don't even know the answers, but I thought I would be curious because of COVID, the pandemic, and sometimes the funds. Which of these two athletic complexes would be a priority to get done? The men's and women's basketball arena or field house, or the football operations building on the Brazos River? How much is that still top of mind, or both still pushed back, or is there a priority between one or the other?
Yeah, great question. So I think they're both extremely important for similar and different reasons, right? One, both very much top of mind, and we certainly talk about them. We continue to work on design, and so we're hopeful here in the next 18 months that we can break ground. I think it's fair to say that COVID has certainly probably put a 12-month extension to when we thought we were going to break ground, but they're both very, very much on our mind. They're both very, very I would say equal on the priority list, right? Men's basketball, when you think about, and women's basketball for that matter, but when you think about just where they are nationally, right now, 3rd and 6, and future longevity of that, and home court advantage, we desperately need to do something, and the Farrell Center has been a great home, but we really need to turn, and have a venue where we have a distinct, one of the best home court advantages in the country. We need to modernize, right? We need to be able to provide some of those state-of-the-art tools and resources when you think about recruiting. And so, obviously a building, a facility that both programs really, really need. And then, you think about football, and we've got this McLean Stadium that's just, top 5 in the country, but where we're lacking is the day-to-day, right? And the importance of football. You think about TV contracts and the percentage of money that's tied to football. You think about revenue for athletic departments, revenue for Baylor athletics, right? And then if there is any conference realignment in the future, right, you need to have a football program, in my opinion, that's really healthy, that's nationally relevant, and that football ops building really speaks to that. And so both buildings are buildings that are needed, and I would say that they're equally positioned in terms of priority.
So do you feel like, and I know you have other things you've got to do the feel like both would be projects that would start about the same time?
Yeah, that would be, the best case scenario, and I would hope that the worst case scenario would be, sometime within 6 months of each other.
Okay. One more thing, and you mentioned the rights, the TV rights. That's coming up closer than people realize. Where do you see that going? the grant of rights, TV, radio, things like that things have changed because of what now is available for people to watch or view, or same thing, listen to where games are?
Yeah, I think that I think the Big 12 brand is as strong as it's ever been. I think the unity amongst the institutions, and you've heard me say this, the institutions as a whole, but the leadership of the institutions, the presidents, the athletic directors, I think it's as close as it's ever been. I think the Big 12, its future is bright when you think the landscape of Autonomous 5. I think the Big 12 is going to continue to be a strong conference and have a strong voice amongst the five. And I would expect that future TV rights will represent that, will be reflective of that. This dynamic way in linear, right, and cable cutting and increase on digital platform, that certainly is going to be a dynamic, and I think we're all trying to figure out, how do you monetize the digital piece and the value of that, and how do you grow it? So I think that's going to be certainly part of it when we think about future rights. But I'm excited. It's the last year 24-25, right? But as you think about it, it's not that far away, and I like where the Big 12 is headed.
Mac, appreciate your time. Good luck to Scott today and his team. Thanks for your time. Mac Rhodes, Baylor Director of Athletics on SicEm365 Radio. All right, so some of the best names of cigars as far as brand names, like shoes, you have Nike, you have Adidas, and whatever else. Cigars have the same thing, but different names, obviously. Christoph, Macanudo, Quorum, Padron, Cohiba, Romeo and Julieta, and Rocky Patel. And Don Shumidor in the Town West Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco is your home for the elite cigars. Not only cigars that are good around the country, that are really nice and popular, but around the world as well, including the Cuatro Nicaragua, the #1 rated cigar in the world. Inside their 48-foot walk-in humidor. Also, they have coffee beans, the smell, the aroma, the fragrance, and the taste. If you love fresh coffee beans, they have them as well. And if you also are interested in CBD products, you can ask Carol and Ashley at Don Shumidor for what they have, including VitaDreams that allows you to sleep maybe better at night and maybe fall asleep a lot easier and quicker. It's Don Shumidor in the Town West Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Engel with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The Sic'em365 Radio app is sponsored by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
All right, back monitoring West Virginia and Baylor, and it's 32-27. Baylor with a 5-point lead. Craig Smoak is here behind the green screen. Paul Catalina, David Smoak. Armstrong Sims runs the mothership. 32-27. West Virginia has slowly been able to kind of creep within a 12-point lead at one point, or maybe 10 for sure. That was 32-23, and since that time, the Mountaineers have made a run, 5-0 run, and now Baylor with the basketball. So we'll see. Paul, what's most important, or what's the most impressive thing you've seen so far? And it's just an energy level right there with Matthew Meyer with a rebound that misses a couple of free throws, but they get another offensive rebound.
Yeah,
the energy is there.
Yeah, the energy's there. The defense is there. They're playing good defense. Their offense, I mean, the numbers are there, but they're really sloppy on the offensive end. I mean, let's not lie. Their passing efficiency is not back yet. I mean, they're there. I don't know, their offensive rebounding great, so far. But this is a sloppy game when it comes to that. But I'm not surprised as that, because these are both teams that are good on defense and make you work for everything you get. So.
Craig, you just saw a possession. I think Baylor just had 6 shots, missed every one of them. Some of them were point blank, some of them open threes, and West Virginia came right back down to cut it to 2. That's maybe a turning point. We'll see what happens. But they were hustling. They got the loose balls. They just couldn't convert.
Well, it doesn't really matter what you do if the ball doesn't go in the bucket. So, hey, play great defense, get rebounds, but if you don't get the ball in the bucket, it doesn't really matter. So, yeah, they're going to have to clean up something offensively, and I don't know how much you can really change during the course of a game, sloppy passing and things like that. But, yeah, I don't like the flow of the game the last few minutes, that's for sure, as West Virginia's closed this lead. I think Baylor does have some energy back, but, again, just very sloppy on offense.
Yeah, and yet 3 more opportunities on that possession, Paul, and they missed a layup up Meyer after an offensive rebound, and now Baylor a foul on the other end. So they're starting to lose control of the tempo, and also they're missing a ton of shots in the last 2 or 3 possessions.
Yeah, and look, this is overall good news, but this is about what you expect. And look, this is how West Virginia plays.
Yeah.
This is what they're starting to play West Virginia style. If you look at the way Bob Huggins' West Virginia teams play most of the time, when they're really good, their games don't look majestic. They don't look like, 1992 Duke. I mean, they look like the I kind of like to compare those teams to the Pat Riley Knicks, where it was just gonna be a bloodbath in there. That's how Bob Huggins likes to play. He plays tough. They get a lot of fouls. They get good foul. Like when they're winning games, they get really good hard fouls, and like they make you think twice about what you're gonna do, and they get in your face. And that's what they've done here today.
Well, it was 32-23. It's now an 8-0 run for West Virginia. But Baylor, in the last 2 possessions, have had the minimum of 8 shots, including one possession where they are absolutely pounding and slamming and getting to the boards and getting rebounds. They're just not converting on some shots. And Matthew Meyer with a couple of rush shots that could have ended with a nice possession and a layup off the glass. So that's where we are, 32-31, 1:05 to go in the first half, and Baylor looks like they're about to go to the free throw line. Here's from Scotty B. Scotty B, it hurts not to make some shots. We need to settle down, play our style. The referees need to be more consistent on both ends, as I have seen a lot of fouls on West Virginia that are not being called. I thought early in the game they let Baylor play. Again, I'm not going to go down that drain. I'm not going to go down that gutter because I think it just takes away. You miss 6 or 8 shots. It's not because fouls aren't being called. They were all open shots and you missed them.
Yeah, I mean, their biggest thing is usually this is a team that passes the ball really well and very efficiently, and they've made some really sloppy passes here in the last few minutes.
Yeah, they have. And West Virginia's picked up the tempo. They picked up the pace, and they just forced yet another turnover. And one of the things, Craig, I noticed even not Tuesday but also Saturday is that there's a lot of dribbling. There's not as much crisp ball movement, and a lot of that might be that they're trying to get themselves back into a certain rhythm, but there was a lot of that, especially Saturday against Kansas.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of that today, just dribbling around the perimeter. It's not the most beautiful game to watch, that's for sure, offensively, but, hopefully they settle down, just keep it close, and give yourself a chance to win. Don't go on such a stretch that all of a sudden you're down by 10 and you're having to dig out of a hole. I mean, you got a big lead early on or a nice lead early on. That's now whittled away. So this run that West Virginia's on, go on a run of your own. How about that? Go on a run of your own. Don't turn it over or miss 6 shots in one possession back-to-back or what's been plaguing them this afternoon, bad passing and bad shooting. Long way to go in this game. Still another half to be played, but definitely in West Virginia's favor right now.
Well, Matthew Meyer with a nice steal, and then he just absolutely just ran right over somebody in the paint and was trying to throw one up on a little runner. And, well, that's kind of an iffy call right there on the edge on a charge call. I think that's a bad call. And that's what happens when you lose the lead. And now West Virginia, 32-31 Baylor with 1.4 seconds to go in the first half. Hey, we didn't know what to expect in this game. We have at least seen what appears to be a team that's got a lot of their energy back. Mm-hmm. They are still missing open shots that they normally don't make or don't miss, but they're getting the ball. They're getting to some loose balls, and that's got to be something positive.
It's crispness that they don't have right now. I think the good news is yes, the energy's back, but the best thing about this team was that they were so crisp all the time. We've not seen that, and then we're about to see, probably a classic Scott Drew inbounds play here after West Virginia messed up.
So I like what I see, and I don't like the fact that they've blown a 10 or 12-point lead, but I do like the fact that at least they're in this game. And at halftime, after a shot at the buzzer, 34-31, as Jared Butler hit a shot, as you mentioned, Paul, drawing something up off the baseline after a turnover by West Virginia.
Even before people talked about Scott Drew, that's a 3. Okay.
It's actually a 3, yeah.
Yeah. Even before people talked about Scott Drew and the kind of energy coach he was, they used to say he's not a good X and O coach. He's not a good X and O coach. And people steal his plays, his inbounds plays all the time. He's kind of the inbounds plays. What I'm trying to think of who's the coach? I guess it would have been Harsin. I don't know. The Boise State offense was to trick plays in that Citrus, the Fiesta Bowl game.
You're talking about Chris Peterson?
Yeah, Chris Peterson used to run all those trick plays when he was at Boise State. Then he stopped when he went to Washington. But, that's what Scott Drew, those inbounds plays he always has something creative going on there.
Craig, we didn't know. We did not know. 35-32, 35-31 Baylor by 4 at halftime. So they had a double-digit lead, and then had a chance. West Virginia had a chance to take the lead. Hey, I see a basketball team that looks like they're a top 10 team, and isn't that what we wanted to see? Now there's still 20 minutes of play left to go.
Well, they should. They are a top 10 team. They're a top 5 team. I don't give a dadgum about the coronavirus limiting for 3 weeks. I mean, I think they've been back. This is their third game back now. So, how long is it going to take for them to look like a top 5 team? So, yeah, they should look like a top 5 team. I'm a little bit surprised because I expected a bit more dead legs, but I'm not surprised that they're holding a lead right now. I didn't have a great feeling going into this game, but there's still a lot of this game to go. If they win this game, I won't be surprised. I'll be pleasantly I'm going to be pleasantly surprised because it wouldn't be a surprise to me. I did going into today anticipate West Virginia winning this game. We'll see. There's another half to play, but yeah, I mean, you got to like where they are right now, but that's where they should be. I mean, They shouldn't be down 15 at halftime or down by double digits or anything. This is the position that they should be in. They're the number 3 team in the country for a reason, so play like it. And they've had 2 games under their belts where they didn't look good. They look lethargic. They look rusty. They're still showing some signs of that, but at least they have their energy back. So I'm not going to act all surprised that they're competing or anything like that because that's what I expect from this team.
Here's what I like, Paul. This is what I like, that even though they missed 6 shots in 1 possession, they had 5 offensive rebounds. They are getting in the air. They are getting to some of the 50-50 balls. That was not the case. Whether they play well the rest of the way remains to be seen, as Craig says they should. But I see a little jump in their step, which there's not there at all against Kansas on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, this is number 3 versus number 6. On Thursday, it's going to be number 3 versus number 15 or 16, and then it's going to be number 3 versus number 18. They've got 2.5 really tough games left. So before they even get to the tournament, which is going to be probably at least 2 tough games. So I think this is probably. Take everything out of COVID. This is how this game was probably going to go, COVID or no COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it wouldn't look as sloppy on either end.
Yeah, had they not been at a delay or a pause, this would have been a game that this is the way they both play each other. Yeah.
Yeah, this is how this goes, when these and look, these 2 coaches know each other really well, and when they've had evenly matched teams, they've had very evenly matched games.
TJ, by the way, I'm not watching the game. I can tell you, though, the officiating is bad. That's TJ. That's just college basketball. From Scotty, hurts not to make some shots. We need to settle down, play our style. The referees need to be more consistent on both ends. Right now, I made the point about the fouls. I don't want to talk about that. I know that sometimes you can go there. You could go there all the time with every game. If nothing else, this helps us going forward against Oklahoma State. And it's amazing if they could come out and play well early again against West Virginia like they did to start this game and get a little, not cushion, but a little breathing room and not feel like there's pressure. Hey, you know what? From what looked like, who are they going to win another game to they might win 3 in a row to close out the regular season, but they have to win this one first to be able to do that. All right, when we come back, Paul Catalina with DallasCowboys.com football analyst David Hellman. John McClain will be with us a little bit earlier than normal, around 5:25 or so today on J.J. Watt to the Cardinals and a few other stories as well. And then Kevin Curtis, Baylor's cornerbacks coach, who came from SMU, Texan through and through. He'll join us today at around 5:40 as well. It's Baylor 35-31 over West Virginia at halftime, and this is SicEm365 Radio. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has a tennis social coming up on Friday, March the 17th. 6:30 to 9:30, 6:30 to 9 o'clock. They will have sign up per level, 2.5 all the way up to 4.0 and up. No partner needed. They will help match you up to what you need based on your level of play. Also, Introduction to Tennis 101 starts Thursday of this week, March the 4th at 6 o'clock. Tennis 102 for players who have graduated from Intro to Tennis will start this Thursday at 7 o'clock, an hour later. And also Pickleball, which has become a hot sport. Introduction to Pickleball starts this Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning. Classes are a 4-week session. Members, $75. Non-members are $90 a piece. Also, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, you can now listen with the new TVs using the app audio. Download the app. Choose the TV you want to listen to in front of you when you're running or whatever exercise you're doing. Ask the front desk if you need any help locking that in. And also, you can now sign up and pay for your memberships on the website. Tell your friends about it. You yourself can do it as well. And TABC license has been cleared, and Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness will begin selling some beer and wine in their bar area that's been renovated. That will start as early as Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. In a long distance meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T as board-certified physician consultations will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
Let Mcneil Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Mcneil Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Mcneil Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Mcneil Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.CamilleJohnson.com. Mcneil Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with David Hellman of DallasCowboys.com.
Catch is made by Amari Cooper, who broke free. Inside the 20, stays in bounds, and is wrestled out at the Eagles' 8-yard line.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Ben Erlinson, who'll navigate you through today's financial climate. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
SicEm365 Radio. David Hellman, DallasCowboys.com, joins us every week. And David, I kind of wanted to talk about the draft this week because I feel like we've exhausted the Dak Prescott thing. It's going to happen or it's not going to happen. So I thought we'd kind of talk about the draft because that's where your main focus is right now as you prepare, 6-7 weeks out as we are right now from the NFL draft and that all going down. Let's just approach this as Cowboys draft scenario A, where Dak Prescott is there and he's the quarterback and we don't have to, extrapolate everything out. Have you seen some guys, especially after watching some of the things that Dan Quinn does on defense that really stick out to you?
Yeah. First of all, I love this. I love this idea where we don't have to talk about Dak. So I appreciate that. It's kind of annoying because Dan Quinn was hired in mid-January and here we are in March and we have not talked to him since he got hired to coach the Cowboys. So all you can really do as of this point is guess. But again, it's at least familiar that they're going back to this, Seattle cover 3 scheme. And obviously, Dan Quinn's going to do some things differently than Chris Richard and Rod Marinelli did, but you can kind of look at the archetypes, right? Like Dan Quinn, this defense calls for these big physical corners. I think that's why people talk so much about Patrick Surtain and Caleb Farley. I think a really interesting element of all this is that Quinn was really fond of drafting these small, fast linebackers like Deion Jones, that you see kind of coming up in the NFL these days. It's obviously not what the Cowboys have. Leighton and Vander Esch and Jalen Smith are very, very big and bulky linebackers. So I'm curious to see what happens there. And then the other thing is fixing this defensive tackle position. Dan Quinn found and developed Grady Jarrett. That's clearly a position that the Cowboys need help at. So, yeah, you can kind of look at especially his past few years in Atlanta and see the type of players that he went after. And I would like to think it at least gives you a roadmap of guys they might be interested in drafting because of that.
Because of the need for quarterbacks all over the league and all these different teams that have them, that have those needs that are ahead of the Cowboys in the draft at 10, there are some drafts where you could say, well, there's no way that this guy will fall to them at 10. But because of there's, 3 or 4 quarterbacks that could go in the top 10 and maybe even somebody who doesn't deserve to, but will because somebody gets desperate. And we've seen that. So could there be some guys that are available to 10 at them that wouldn't normally be because of a run on quarterbacks?
Well, hopefully, if we've learned anything, it was from just a year ago. I mean, if I had come on this show in March and told you that CeeDee Lamb would fall to the Cowboys at 17, hopefully you would have laughed me out of the building. I know I would have. I saw a mock draft in April before the draft that had CD going to the Cowboys at 17, and I closed out of it immediately. I was like, well, this is just stupid. I'm not even gonna take this at face value because that's ridiculous. And sure enough, what do I know? All kinds of crazy things can happen. People overvalue quarterbacks. If you have a need, people do crazy things for players that they're sold on. It feels like ancient history, but the Atlanta Falcons moved heaven and earth to get Julio Jones when he came out all the way back in, 2011? Mm-hmm. Obviously the quarterbacks are the big name guys. You got, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and maybe even Mac Jones. Like, you never know what a team is going to do to get a quarterback. Then you talk about there are not enough good offensive tackles in the NFL. So there's 2 or 3 offensive tackles that fit into that, whether it's Penei Sewell, whether that's Rashawn Slater. And then even, if you are a team that drastically needs a playmaker and you think Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith is that guy, absolutely. You see teams make moves for guys like that all the time. So there are as many as 8 guys that fit that description, I think. And the Cowboys are picking 10. So, yeah, it's very reasonable to think that you're going to have some really talented guys pushed to you. I won't be surprised at all if the best defensive player in this draft is available at number 10 because of how top-heavy this thing is on offense. So, yeah, I think whatever they decide to do with it, I think the Cowboys are going to have their pick between several really, really top-flight players.
Could you see a scenario where they go secondary in the first 2 picks? In the first and second round, because that might be where the strength of the draft is?
Absolutely. And it's not that long ago that we already saw him do that. They picked Cheeto Awuzie and Jordan Lewis back-to-back in 2017. Obviously, neither pick really worked out as well as you would prefer, seeing as how both of those guys are about to be free agents. But, and this will change here in the next month with free agency. We know, aside from Dak, the Cowboys have a bunch of other decisions to make. But the secondary, if you're just talking about playing games in September, the secondary is this team's biggest problem right now. Cheeto's a free agent. Jordan's a free agent. Xavier Woods is a free agent. So, that's 75% of your starting secondary right there that's not coming back. You got Anthony Brown and Trayvon Diggs, but you need another starter caliber corner. You'd probably, I know, we all feel good about Donovan Wilson, but I'm not ready to just say, oh, they're good at strong safety. So you need at least one, but maybe as many as two, safeties who can come in and compete for reps. So they got a lot of work to do. And if I had to mock it right now, and like I said, it's going to change when they start adding a few free agents, but this team needs a cornerback and a safety, probably more than anything else. Like the rest of it you can get by with, but those are the spots where I think they absolutely have work to do.
Would you say that any of those guys, Awuzie, Woods, Lewis, have a decent shot at coming back?
I think Cheeto is going to raise a lot of eyebrows with how much money he's worth on the open market. Like we tend to roll our eyes at guys we've watched for the last 4 years, but Cheeto's started a lot of games in this league. Hasn't been spectacular, but I think he's underrated from a coverage perspective. Injuries got the better of him this year, unfortunately. I would have been interested to see how he would have done with more games. But guys with his size and athleticism who have proven that they can hold down their side of the field, maybe we don't agree with it, but guys like that get paid. So I'm not going to be surprised if he prices himself out of the Cowboys range. Jordan Lewis is interesting to me because I just don't know that he has a complete enough resume that he's going to be worth a ton on the open market. Mm-hmm. Just, he was never a regular starter for this team. So it kind of like Anthony Brown, they re-signed Anthony Brown to a 3-year, $15 million deal last year. If you could re-sign Jordan on a deal like that, I would be very interested in doing that, mainly just to cover yourselves, but also because I do think he's an underrated player and maybe he could find a better role under Dan Quinn. So I would probably circle Jordan as the guy that I'd be looking at if I was going to bring somebody back.
Yeah, Xavier Woods to me just doesn't seem to be a fit anymore. And he kind of had his run.
Yeah, he definitely had solid moments during his career here for a 6th round pick. I think that's for a 6th round pick. I think that's an unquestionably successful pick. Like if you get that much run out of a 6th round guy, that's great because 6th round picks are no guarantee to even make the team. But yeah, I didn't have an amazing contract year. I think I haven't seen anything that suggests that he would be overly difficult to replace. And, I don't mean that as a knock, but I think that's just a situation where you let him try to go find a better role and maybe a better payday. But yeah, I think that's just kind of run its course, in my opinion.
What did you learn about the way that Mike McCarthy likes to approach a draft last year? Or is one draft enough sample size to really do that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's hard to answer, not only because it's only one draft, but also because the whole thing was so remote. Like there's so many things that we haven't learned about the way things are when life is normal. We had such a read on what this team wanted to do under Jason Garrett and Rod Marinelli that I don't think we've picked up on yet. I do think it's encouraging, at the very least, and it's hard to say how much of this is Mike and how much is the front office, but they went after the best player possible in every situation last year. And the big thing that, Mike McCarthy said is, they traded up to get Tyler Biadasz at his insistence because he thought they needed to address that center position. So you go get a guy like Tyler Biadasz, who was an award winner in college, to really shore that thing up. So it gives me confidence that Mike is all about getting the best player possible, which if you're a draft nerd, that's music to your ears. Mm-hmm. But, we'll see we'll see how it goes this year. Because I think one draft, it's hard to take too much away from that.
Well, and the other thing is the draft, fell to them perfectly in the first round.
Right.
So that there's no guarantee that that's going to happen again. Because these, the chess pieces get moved in front of you without outside your control. You just have to be like, okay, well, this is where we are now.
Not only that, but things fell so favorably for them. Like they got the best player on their board at 17, and then Trayvon Diggs, who is a guy that they had interest in as a first round pick, sat around until the middle of the second round. Like they deserve credit for it, but I think their jobs were pretty easy last year. Like you just take the guy that's obviously the best guy. But how's it going to work this year? Not to bring Dak into the conversation, but one way or another, you're going to be paying a lot of money for Dak Prescott's services. How is that going to hinder you in free agency? How many holes are you going to have when it comes time to draft? Like if a cornerback that you don't feel great about is sitting there, but you need a cornerback, like, can you resist that temptation to draft for need? I think, and not very many teams do. Like the whole best player available thing is largely a myth in my opinion. So I'll be interested to see, come draft night, what does the roster look like and how purely do they draft? Because I think there's going to be some needs on this roster when the draft rolls around, and I'll be interested to see how they balance filling those needs with taking the best available players.
I know this might be a jump in logic, but they do have a lot of picks this year, and they do need to fill a lot of spots, and they are about to spend a lot of money on one guy. Did this kind of at least work out for them in that regard that, assuming the Dak contract gets done and they're not going to be able to just go, throw lines in the water on free agents, that they will have, double-digit picks to make up for that? Yeah, no, I mean, assuming they figure out what to do with Dak, this is an amazing opportunity because they're going to pick at least 10 times probably. And again, you're not just picking 10th on the first night. You're picking 10th in the second round, 10th in the third round, 10th in the fourth round. Throw in a third round compensatory pick for Byron Jones, who you lost to Miami. So if my math is right, and I think it is, not that I'm good at math, but they're going to pick 4 times near the top 100. Like their first 3 picks are all going to be in the top 100. And then that comp pick for Byron should probably be around pick 105. So that's 4 players right there that you would like to think are good enough to compete for a starting job. So if you do your job the right way and draft good players, that's a hell of a way to boost your roster right there. And, like I said, hopefully if you get Dak under control, maybe you look at the offensive tackle situation, but you'd like to think that they can spend the majority of those picks on defenders. All of a sudden, that's a third of your defense that you're infusing with young talent. So, yeah, I mean, they have a big opportunity to flip this thing over pretty quickly if they do their jobs the right way. Well, David, we don't require you to be good at math. Look, I went to FSU. You went to LSU. Yeah. Everybody knows why we picked the schools we did. It wasn't because of the math department. I was like, who's got a good football team and who's a bad enough school to let me skip credits? Like LSU, when I enrolled at LSU, I was already a sophomore academically because that's how low the standards were. So I couldn't recommend it highly enough. Just for anybody that might be thinking about it. I'll tell you, LSU was one of the schools I applied to too because of some of those same reasons. I did one day, and you'll like this because you're an LSU fan and you don't like Alabama. In one class, we had to fill out a college application from the day after the college, fair. And so they said, just pick one from the folder you got. And Alabama's was 1 page front and back with no essay. And so that's the one I picked. Oh, dude, I told, full disclosure, not that anybody cares. Florida, UF was actually my first choice. That's where I wanted to go. Mm-hmm. But UF is a great school. And I had to write an essay and I had to get recommendations from my teachers. And it took a month to apply to this school. And I was like, that's really exhausting. I don't want to do that again. And then I pulled up LSU and it was all I got to do is write in my name and my address and that's it. It took 5 minutes to apply to LSU. And I think I got accepted 2 days later. I was like, that's it for me. I'm not doing this. Circle the picture that's gumbo. This one. There, you're in.
Like put the square peg in the square hole and the round peg in the round hole. Piece of cake. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. That Florida State happened for me that way. I just checked it on the box in the state application. I've got some friends that go there. Check. There you go. Boom.
Hey, and you know what? I went to a bad school and I had a bad GPA, and here I am doing this kick-ass job with people who are way smarter than me. So chase your dreams, kids. You don't have to go into all this student debt to be a sports writer. I promise you that.
That's right. David Hellman, DallasCowboys.com, with us every Tuesday here on SicEm365 Radio.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Are you ready to say big on a new 2020 Chrysler 300 Touring? A car with superior craftsmanship and quality. During the President's Day event at Allen Samuels, say big and drive a new 2020 Chrysler 300 Touring with special values of $7,250 or 0% for 72 months and $2,000 in combo cash right now. Visit the customer award-winning Allen Samuels located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco to see the incredible 2020 Chrysler 300 Touring. It's the best President's Day event going on now at Allen Samuels, your friend in the car business. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with John McClain of the Houston Chronicle, brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
All right, the first media timeout. It is 43-42 Baylor with a 1-point lead, but West Virginia gets the ball back. And I see a lot of one-on-one dribbling going on the last few possessions. They missed 11 shots in a row before Butler hit the 3. And West Virginia's starting to get a little rhythm. So who's going to come up with the big shots? Butler, Teague, who's it going to be? But West Virginia with the ball, and Baylor again trying to hang on right now in Morgantown. Guys?
Yeah, this is how it goes when you go to Morgantown. And West Virginia's got the lead.
They got a kid, Mcneil, who's red hot right now, hitting a couple of threes that have given them the lead. And now we're going to find out, this Baylor team, this is when you come back. This is when you kind of get tough. This is when you make a couple of shots, and if they have what they need to make those shots.
You're muted, Craig.
Yeah, so... West Virginia's got the lead, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I'm just sitting back watching the game, not really trying to dissect it minute by minute or anything like that. Just kind of, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I think there's a lot of stress right now as a result of this game, and just hopefully that they'll pull this one out. We can stop having to stress out over basketball on every game basis, but sounds like that's not going to change.
A dangerous moment right now, 48-43 as Mcneil's hit 3 threes to give West Virginia a 5-point lead with 14-15 left in the game. All right, a couple of notes. The Mack Rhodes interview that we had earlier, and I know that eventually because of the governor's decision about masks and the mandate, what happens down the stretch, what does that mean for Baylor basketball in future games? I don't know. But that's something that will be interesting. And now Baylor's going to have to maybe take a timeout. West Virginia is on a big-time run of a 10-0 run, up by 7 with a steal and the dunk. And now Baylor faces a crisis in Morgantown, West Virginia.
Here's how I would feel if I'm these teams that have, especially if you're like Baylor and you've just come off a 3-week hold. Now, I know you're not worried about probably getting COVID again in a massive outbreak like that, but just around the country of things like this, as these dominoes start to fall, like you've come all this way in your basketball and you're in March now, and so are you running the risk of creating more outbreaks at the end of it? So like you're almost to the finish line. So it just makes me nervous that there's going to be people out there who never supported mask mandates or anything that are going to be like, well, now I'm free, then I can go do what I want. And that, it could cause a problem.
Let's have a fair discussion here. What's the difference between those people and those who are saying, my God, let's not take them off? Don't they, if that's what the governor is saying, don't the people have a right to make their own decision? Doesn't mean that they're wrong, and it doesn't mean it's going to lead to an outbreak. We don't know that. Just like we don't know if masks even make a difference sometimes.
The mask, the reason the mask people have a slight lead, and I'm just saying it's slight, is that it's at least safer. So, and the other thing is, I'm not so much talking about the mask as the mass gatherings. Like when you say like there's no cap on and each school's going to make their own determination, mask or no mask, that like, hey, put as many people in here as you want is the thing that would concern me.
I don't think that everyone's going to pack 16,000 people into the Irwin Center the next time it's available. I don't think Baylor's going to turn around and say we're going to have 10,500. Well, they won't have another home game before next Wednesday, right? Because everything's going to be on the road after that. But everyone to each his own. Again, it's a polarizing topic. Now, I got a couple of stories that I thought were interesting, that at least I think they're interesting. You guys answer them. Craig, let's go back to what I was talking about with Mac, though. He did say that there is a timeline, and it's not 2 or 3 years, even though it's going to be a while, that the pandemic has pushed back the projects in athletics at least back about 12 months or a year, but that the Arena Fieldhouse football ops building, 18 months or so, about that time they're going to want to start breaking ground. That's better than what we thought.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think anything either way, so it's not really better for me because there wasn't anything to think. We just hadn't heard about it in so long, which is why I'm glad that we were able to get an update on it. Yeah, I mean, those are 2 massive projects, and we haven't heard anything about them in a long time. You wonder if, because of financial constraints, those get pushed to the side because, hey, you can still play in the Farrell Center. Not really problematic in any way. It's not ideal, but it's not, a shack by any means that you're playing basketball in. The football ops building, they managed to, go about their business without having that. But it's very clear that, the bigger programs in the country are stepping their game up. And when's the last time Baylor football really did anything, as far as a big project there's been little things here and there. McLean Stadium was obviously a huge investment and all of that. But, their stuff now is kind of, quite frankly, since the bank opened up, it's kind of just been sitting there aging, right? So they've been crammed into that crowded space, and they need their own room. So the field house is of the utmost importance, and I think with the basketball programs, the fact that we're even, on the edge of our seats or whatever over this game right now, and what the Lady Bears have done year in and year out, they're very deserving of having a new arena. And I think that, the Farrell Center, for whatever charm it has, it's just not a place that I think people really seek to go to. I know I certainly don't. I don't go like, man, can't wait to go to the Farrell Center. I just, there's not that pull for me, nor for many people who aren't just there to see the game to begin with. Now, you're not bringing in fans just for the sake of you have a cool arena, but if you can do that, that's great. And if you need new digs, you need new digs. So clearly football and basketball are, in need of these things, and basketball in particular is very deserving. At the same time, while football's results haven't been there consistently over the last few years, there have been some results, including a Sugar Bowl trip 2 years ago. And you got to take into account, too, you're dealing with a scandal and 3 head coaching changes in like a handful of years. So they've still been able to produce a little bit, and they're obviously the moneymaker for the school. So both very important projects, and glad to hear that in the next year and a half or so, those will get off the ground.
Baylor has been able to stop the bleeding. Now 52-50. They're going to the free throw line. Under 12 minutes left as they're about to take a timeout with the television timeout. Kevin Curtis will join us here momentarily, the new cornerbacks coach at Baylor. John McClain, we're going to move him back because of timing of when Kevin Curtis is available. So I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Eastern Washington, I think they lost their game 28-21, but they were lining up for a field goal, and the kicker made it. The field goal was inside what would have been, if you're facing the goalpost, the right upright. It was good. And the official who was supposed to be under the upright was adjusting and putting on his mask, missed the kick, said it was no good, and even replay did not overturn it. It is the first time. This is like COVID officiating at its worst.
Yeah, and there's one of your little bugaboos about masks is that the constant have to put it back on, and is he going to get COVID in the 2 seconds it takes for the field goal to happen, or give it to somebody? Probably not. That's the whole thing about the mask, and just look up and make sure you got it right. And I don't know why replay wouldn't overturn it. That doesn't make any sense. Why does replay exist if not for that exact reason? Yeah, okay, even if it wasn't a mask, what if he had
just missed it?
What if? Yeah, or no, if we just missed it, or what if at that moment he slipped and fell?
It's a good point. You ought to go just Google Eastern Washington field goal, COVID or miss, I don't know. And it's not like it was right down the middle, but it was good, and they screwed it up, and that's interesting. Now, I saw Colin Cowherd, who's a part of Fox Sports and has his own podcasting site now as well. He said Major League Baseball had a brief COVID flare-up, and some suggested to cancel the season. The NFL had a few COVID cases, and many media questioned the leadership of the NFL. The NBA has just had its 34th game canceled, but nobody says a word about Adam Silver and should the NBA stop.
Of course not. He's untouchable. The NBA is untouchable. We can't talk bad about the NBA. We can't talk bad about anything that they do. It's funny how they're treated differently, but a big part of the reason why is because their media treats them differently.
Yeah.
Their media shelters them as much as any sport in the entire world. It's actually kind of sad to read a lot of it. It's propaganda in a lot of ways sometimes. But yeah, they're quick to snap off on the NFL or MLB, but all of a sudden the finger's pointed at you and you don't have a whole lot to say. And I think that speaks mostly to people's character. It is what it is. They are not bulletproof, but they definitely get treated a lot differently than other leagues for some reason.
Yeah, anything across the board, and it just seemed like they're not held accountable for any comments or opinions, and even especially when they talk about how they want to do Black Lives Matter or social justice, and yet nothing is ever asked or any kind of response from anybody when it comes to the fact that they are entrenched with China and vice versa. Now, a couple of other stories.
No, Kevin Curtis is on, Smoaky.
Oh, okay. All right, we're ready to go. All right, we're now joined by Baylor cornerbacks coach Kevin Curtis, who first time we've been able to chance to talk with him, with Paul Catalina, Craig Smoak, David Smoak on SicEm365 Radio. Kevin, thank you very, very much for your time. How has your first few weeks at Baylor, have you settled in? How do you feel? How comfortable are you right now?
It's been good. I hit the ground running last Tuesday, and we're in the middle of football school, so we did a little install as a defensive staff and went out there and we were going through some things. So it's been fast. It's been jam-packed. We are definitely bam, 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 but it's good. Learning the system, building relationship with my guys. You know, that's the key thing is getting a chance to build a relationship with them and build trust. So it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
You've got some exciting players at that position, Kalen Barnes, chief among them. But what have you gotten to see so far? Because, I mean, you got to hit the ground running. It's not like you could just lock yourself in a room and watch all the film.
You know, you have a group of some vets that have played meaningful snaps, that have done some really good things here. And then you have a group of young guys that have a lot of talent, that they're going to be really good players. And so you have a good mix, good leadership from the older guys, guys trying to take those guys under their wing. And so you have a good mix in the group. And so I'm excited about getting a chance to work with those guys and pushing those guys, challenging those guys, and giving them pointers to make them better.
Coach, can you talk about just what led you to Waco? Obviously, you know, Brian Stewart had another opportunity. It seemed like Baylor, after a few offseason hires, had cemented their staff once again, but then that opened up, and here you are. So can you talk about just sort of the background and how it unfolded on your end, the eventual trip, and now, you know, living in Waco and being a member of the Baylor football program?
Well, you know, when I played at Texas Tech, when Mike Leach and Sonny Dykes and all those guys came to Texas Tech, Coach Aranda was a GA for Greg McMacken, defensive coordinator. And so I got a chance to meet Coach Aranda then. And then I want to say when Cliff got the job at Texas Tech, we were trying to get Coach Aranda to leave Utah State to come to Texas Tech to be the defensive coordinator. But I want to say his guy got the Wisconsin job, and he went there to be the DC with him. And we've always kept in contact when we see each other. But when this job opportunity came open, you know, I was definitely very interested. Getting a chance to work with Coach Aranda, who is, we all know he's smart. We all know he's a great ball coach, but a genuine guy, a really good guy. And so when you say really good guy, you put a small pool of guys in this business that are really, really good guys. And so I wanted the opportunity to be around a guy like that, but then also to be around a football mind like him. And so this staff is great, and they've accepted me, and I'm excited about being here. And then when I got to Baylor, I did not know the culture. I'm a man of faith, and this place, you don't have to be like shy about your faith, and that's really eye-opening and intriguing, and that's something that you can use in recruiting, because there's a lot of people that, especially live in Texas, that are believers, and they want their kids around that type of environment. So it's been great being here.
Kevin, when you mentioned the first time, or when you knew Coach Aranda when you were at Texas Tech, did you see in him then head coaching material, or was that too early in the process?
You know what? That was probably 20 years ago, and that I don't even remember like that. But, you know, as I followed him in his career, I knew because how smart he is and how much attention to detail. And that's what, as a head coach, you have to have attention to detail. There's so many things that you have your hands on and that you have to have control of, and he definitely does that.
Kevin, Coach Aranda talks about football and scheme. Sometimes I feel like I'm listening to a chemist talk about, some miracle drug he's just made or like some kind of scientific breakthrough. He has that kind of look at it. Is it entertaining to be for a guy with a football mind like yours in a room with a football mind like Dave Aranda's?
Oh, yes, because in life, we are always learning. And as a football coach, we're always learning and always improving. So you love being around other minds and learn different schemes and how they do it and why they do it. And that's really what you want to do, is learn why. And then once you figure out the why, then, it all makes sense. So, yes, it's great being able to learn.
Kevin, when fans and analysts and everybody else watches games next year, and Paul mentioned, Kalen Barnes, there's Raleigh Tejada who decided to come back, and Mark Milton and others. But what do you see, the view of Kevin Curtis guys? Like when people watch Kevin Curtis guys at cornerback, what do you want them to see on a weekly basis?
I want them to be able to see a group of competitive young men that will fight, claw, scratch to get the ball out. And so I want guys that will be competitive. And those guys will be competitive and understand it's going to be a lot of opportunities for one-on-one. And it's just, who wants it the most. This group is going to be a group that plays hard and plays smart. And if we do those three things, then we can have a bright future.
Kevin, as a player at Texas Tech, Mike Leach was, of course, the head coach, and we know with the offense that they ran, and so many now run it or something similar to that. What was that like to face that in practice every day?
You know what? When he first got there, it wasn't what it ended up being. And so he was trying to learn the pieces. So you could see the initial stages of it. But then now you look at it and you see how the game of football, especially in Texas with 7-on-7, how it all changed with the whole spread offense. So it has definitely been something that has changed football all over, but especially in Texas.
Kevin Curtis, Baylor cornerbacks coach, with us on SicEm365 Radio.
What is it like to jump into a place right after signing day? Is that a bit of an adjustment because you recruit for one place or someplace and then you step in and it's completely new to you?
I think as football coaches, as football players, you learn to be just adapt and adjust, and that's what you're constantly doing. And so you start, you hit the ground running. We're all professionals, and so you just football's football. You have different names for things, but we've all done similar things before. And so you hit the ground running, you adapt, you adjust, and then when you get on the grass, it's all normal. It's all football.
SMU obviously saw a huge rise in the last couple of years. They are, a team that every week is competitive. What was it like to kind of see just the evolution of that program the last few years under Sonny Dykes and the success that they've had in a place that, as you well know, didn't have a lot of success for a long time?
Yeah, it was great. We were able to recruit the Metroplex really hard and get guys that may have gone off other places to come back home, and maybe get a couple guys to stay home. And last year, 2 years ago, we win 10 games for the first time since the '80s. And so there was a great buzz, and the people were supporting us, and so it was fun, to be able to get that program turned around, going the right direction. And it seems like every coach that's been in that program leaves it better than when they found it. So, and Coach Dykes is doing a great job, and they'll continue over there.
You were a Jim Thorpe Award finalist. You also played in the NFL. You've had that as well. You were drafted. How much does that help, Kevin, with younger players today? Perhaps that doesn't mean if you didn't play the game, you can't be a really good coach, but how much does that help maybe for you to get through, or they pay attention to you that you have been there?
I think in the football part, I mean, they're going to listen to coaches that can make them better. But in the whole scheme of things, of like how to handle yourself, how to study, how to carry yourself like a pro, because you have been there, they are more open to listen. And so I try to give guys a lot of advice, just how to conduct yourself, how to carry yourself, not only for the football world, for the real world. And so it does give me a little bit more credibility because I have been somewhere where they want to go.
Kevin Curtis with us, Baylor cornerbacks coach on SicEm365 Radio. Craig?
Coach, you mentioned just being around all the other coaches. Just what's the? I mean, you said that it's been a good experience, but what's it been like just getting to know some new guys? And this isn't a staff that's just a bunch of guys from Texas or a bunch of guys from one place. I mean, this is a pretty unique combination of some LSU, some BYU, some State of Texas. Just what do you kind of think of the makeup and what you've seen so far?
You know what? You have guys from all over and guys that have been successful all over, and so. What you do is just you listen and you see how different people do different things, and you pick it up. If those are certain things that you want to add to your makeup, but you know it's a great group of guys that are under the leadership of a great coach, Coach Aranda, and that are working together for one common goal, and that's to make Baylor what it should be. You know, so we're going to give it all we have, you know, and pour into this program and pour into these young men.
You have a son, Kevin, and I saw a story that was written about you, a Q&A when you were at SMU, about how certain people master certain things outside of their profession. And the one thing you mentioned, this was about a year ago, when you said, I'm just trying to master being a good dad. I've been focused on that. How has that been? And how much of a thrill is it to watch that and your son grow up right in front of you and your wife?
It's the greatest joy to know that he watches me. And all I do is try to give him all the love that I have. I can't hug him enough. I can't hold him enough. I can't kiss him enough. And so, you know, I just want him to know that I love him. And, you know, the best joy is when he gives me the tightest hug and says, "Dad, you're my hero." And, you know, I don't know if he truly knows what that means, but him saying it is amazing. And so, you know, that is great joy. And what we understand as coaches is that we have our kids, and our players are somebody else's kids, and they want you to care about them. They want you to love them. And loving doesn't mean that you're not holding them accountable, because I hold my son accountable. But I love him, and that is our job as coaches, to love and care for our players and pour into them and make them better men when they leave this place.
You, when you were at SMU, and we appreciate your time wrapping it up with Baylor cornerbacks coach Kevin Curtis. Kaz Kazadi was there. He, of course, was a rock star with Baylor football when he was here. You had a chance to get a feel for him and what he meant to players. How much time did you get a chance to kind of pick his brain as well?
Always. I'm always picking his brain, why he's doing certain things with the guys. What's the mindset of, you know, everybody echoing the calls. And so as a coach, I'm always a sponge, and no matter what field you're in, I'm just constantly trying to learn and reading books. And so he was somebody great to listen to and learn from and sit back and just watch.
Kevin, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Welcome to Waco. Welcome to Baylor University. We hope to see you sooner to practice.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Kevin Curtis, Baylor quarterbacks coach, with us. Appreciate his time. Baylor with the spring drills down the road, and it's different. It's different. You know, we still don't have that intimacy of being able to go watch practice or have a chance to sit somebody, get off to the side with a player or a coach, although we get great access with football with Taylor Bryan as well. By the way, Baylor update, down 2 with 5:16 to go. They're staying close. make a couple of plays. They're staying close, but boy, West Virginia shooting the threes very well.
Yeah, this is not one of Matt Meyer's best offensive games, but this is one of his best defensive and hustle games ever. I mean, he's made some really solid defensive plays. I'm sure they'd like to see him, finish some of his shots a little bit better than he has today. But he just made a fantastic play. I'm not one to complain about officials, but this is what happens I'm not complaining. This is what happens quite often during West Virginia games. They play such a style of basketball that I don't think they really know how to call them. They just have to we could blow our whistle all the time like that Gonzaga UNC game, or we can just, let the good times roll. And I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been a few head scratchers, but it's there for the taking. You got 5 minutes to go win this game. So, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be hard when you have only played a couple of games in a month's time. It's supposed to be hard to win championships. It's supposed to be hard to beat West Virginia, a top 5, top 10 team, and it's supposed to be hard to win in Morgantown. That's what great teams go and do. So close this bad boy on out, win a Big 12 title, and give yourself a little breathing room in the last couple of games to not have to worry about the actual end result, although obviously you want to win every game that you can. But, it's there. They're in the area. We'll see if they can't pull it out. But, a lot of nervous people out there right now.
This is about when the game in Lawrence, of course, they had to fight back the whole time. They did not have anything left, and then this is when they stretched it out. West Virginia's 18 of 20 at the free throw line, but they're 7 of 17 hitting threes. Baylor's hit 10 of 27, still a little bit off of what their normal average of 37%. I think they're usually like 43% or so. So they're going to need to still make some shots down the stretch. But, Matthew Meyer has 4 rebounds, 3 steals in this game as Baylor trails by 2 and with just over 4 minutes to go in the game. So, all right, take a break here. Paul, come back with your 5 at 5:55. All right, we will do that. I was going to make one more comment about Baylor golf, men's golf. They're in San Antonio at the TPC, which is a very difficult course. This is the Cabo Collegiate Classic. This is supposed to be in Cabo. If there was ever, that's not a good trade-off. God bless the TPC in San Antonio, but when you're supposed to play in Cabo and you're in San Antonio, that's just not fair.
It's a buzzkill.
All right, back with Paul's 5 at 5:55 next on SicEm365 Radio.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jeweler, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
This segment on Baylor Athletics on SicEm365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics.
All right, here we go. 5:55 with Paul's 5 here in just a second. West Virginia with a 3 to lead by 3. Baylor does have the ball coming back. Actually, I think Matthew Meyer just had a dunk. Is that right, Paul? Or was that?
Yeah, it was fantastic play there by Jared Butler. Just really, Meyer cuts the basket. Yeah, he made it happen. But they're down 3:12 to go. 72-69. West Virginia came right back and hit a 3. And McBride, who's a really good player, he's also in double figures, as is Mcneil. Here's a story about a transfer, and then Paul's 5. This guy named Teddy Allen, Nebraska's basketball leading scorer. They're not very good, so I don't know how good he is, but he's their leading scorer. Set an arena record just like a week ago. He left, just suddenly left the program. This is what's going on with the transfer portal. He started at West Virginia. He then transferred to Wichita State, sat out a year, never played for the Shockers, kicked off the team in June of 2019 after he was arrested with a connection and disturbance with his girlfriend, went to Western Nebraska Community College, then ended up as the scoring leader for the country, ended up then joining Lincoln, going to Nebraska in Lincoln, 16 points a game, he's gone. I don't know if he's been dismissed, if they've got a problem, he's got an injury, or something else has, of course, happened in his life.
Sounds like he's got some issues outside of the basketball court to be that frequently changing your mind, to also have some of the run-ins that he did, or that one run-in that you mentioned. So, yeah, don't know the guy, don't know what to really make of it, but yeah, it's not a very good example to set, that's for sure, for younger players.
All right, Paul, you're 5.
Well, it's interesting you brought up the word transfer there. This, based on the fact, and we need to talk about this, Alan Bowman, former Texas Tech quarterback, transferring to Michigan. Jim Harbaugh has yet to get a quarterback to really stay there. But I thought, since that was going on, we could talk about the top 5 transfer quarterbacks of all time. And Smokey, I think you might be happy and mad when I get to the top of this list. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so
I know one that's going to make me happy, but go ahead. Yeah.
So I think it just might be the rankings. I don't know. Number 5, and this is maybe a little bit of a recency bias, but Justin Fields. Really, look, Ohio State can't complain about anything they got out of Justin Fields. He's going to be a top 10 pick in the draft this year, more than likely. Number 4, Troy Aikman. Look, went from Oklahoma to UCLA, top pick in the draft. Didn't win the Heisman Trophy, but did everything else that you could really want out of a UCLA quarterback. Number 3. Baker Mayfield. I think they may be, one of the gold standards of the modern transfer quarterback is Baker Mayfield. You can't get more out of him other than a national championship than he gave Oklahoma. Number 2, this guy said, to hell with fancy book learning. I'm going to go to Nebraska and play football. Scott Frost transferred from Stanford to Nebraska, won a national title in 1997. And so the only reason Scott Frost was not number 1 is the best transfer quarterback of all time is Cam Newton, who of all the people who didn't get kicked off of the Florida Gators for different things, Cam Newton got kicked off for stealing a laptop in that same time, went to Auburn, won the Heisman Trophy and a national title. So he's number one.
Yeah, that's 5. Would you would take any of them if you were any of them?
Didn't even mention Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
Kyler Murray.
I probably should have put Kyler in for Justin Fields. Probably should have done that.
Well, here's what we do know. Did Justin Fields win? Did he win a Heisman Trophy?
No.
Did he win a national title?
No. Matt Meyer heard me talking about his offense.
Yeah, he's had a couple of nice. He had a nice little kiss off the glass. 2 minutes to go, game tied at 74. This is crazy. Tried to do a show while watching this. I'm telling you right now, it's nuts. And that Mcneil kid is killing Baylor with his perimeter shot. So, okay, Mayfield won the Heisman. Aikman didn't win either one, but he was fantastic, the number 1 pick of the draft. Frost won a national title. And Cam Newton won both.
Yeah, so we need to probably boot off Justin Fields and put on Kyler Murray.
Craig, do you like that?
I think that's fair. I mean, this list is going to be a 20-person list in about 2 years probably because of all the guys who have moved around and will continue to move around. And, I understand the wanting to be more favorable to the student athletes. I'm not against paying student athletes. I'm not anti that. I think that there is some concessions to be made by the universities themselves. I mean, they make an awful lot of money, millions upon millions off these players. I think there's a middle ground somewhere, but I think, as a college football has always been my number 1 sport pretty much for the last 25 years. I mean, when I was really young, baseball was my favorite sport, and then it became college football and always has been. But I really do wonder about the future of the sport the way that we knew it because of just how out of control the transfer portal is. And, I mean, there's guys who are going to be in the NFL, and you're like, what jersey does he even say, or what college does he say he's from? He's played for 4 different schools in college alone. You know what I mean? The Tate Martells, those are just terrible examples of the transfer portal. So, yeah, it's very interesting, and that list will get a lot longer before it gets, before it slows down at all. That's for sure.
Yeah, and there might be 6 or 8 names that we're just not off the top of our head, but those are 6 with Kyler Murray involved. That's amazing.
Yeah. The first great transfer quarterback, Smokey, is another Nebraska guy. I say great, but one that worked out really well was Vince Ferragamo.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because I think he was at Cal, was he not?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that I'm fine if you transfer one time in your life. Transfer one time, do that. Transfer once. That's okay. Everybody. But when you're not happy anywhere, it means that if you're like Tate Martell's problems follow him. And it to me, a lot of these guys, it's not about playing. It's about much more than that. Because if you think you're good, you're going to win. Look, I remember Brandon Stewart transferred from Tennessee to A&M because Peyton freaking Manning was the same year as him. Look, that's a smart thing to do. Look, we're the same year. I'm never going to play. I'm just going to go. I have another opportunity. Look, I thought I could beat this guy out, but, let's look at the reality of the situation. He's Peyton freaking Manning. So, but if you're just well, I don't want to wait a whole year, to me, that's just not.
Yeah, it's when you keep bouncing around. It's not a good look. I know it's about giving somebody a chance to play, and it's almost like everything we have now. And Derek Culver just hit 2 free throws, the big kid in the middle with 1:05 to go. 80-79, Jared Butler had given Baylor the lead, and they called a foul on an offensive rebound on Mark Vital that was a little interesting. So this thing's going down the stretch. I'm telling you, this is nuts.
It's too good of a game to be on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and Jared Butler just turned it over on a layup, and they called it off of him. And so West Virginia will have the ball up 1 with 50 seconds to go. It is nuts to do this show. Nuts. And I know I'm trying to we've at times gone back and forth with it, but oh well. That's a tough call against Jared Butler. Yep, it did go off of him. So West Virginia's they're shooting free throws. You got to give them credit. It's a great game. 2 really good teams. I like what I see from Baylor, even if they don't pull this thing out in the last minute of the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that's not a foul, but okay. It was 50-50 ball and arm.
Yeah, there's been some questionable calls in this game.
Yeah, right there.
is what it is. So we'll see what they do in this last minute.
Just like I say, make one more shot. Don't turn it over one time. You know, you can end up doing that. Well, you guys are going to wrap it up from here. How you want to do this?
Yeah, let's wrap it now.
All right. Baylor down 1. So. West Virginia has the ball with 52.3 seconds to go after 2 free throws on an offensive rebound foul on Mark Vital that put them at the line, and they've been in the bonus for a long, long time. All right, for Paul Catalina, thank you, Armstrong Sims. Great job. Thank you, Craig Smoak. Good luck, everybody, tonight. I'm David Smoak. This is SicEm365 Radio.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been proudly serving Texans across the state for over 60 years. Call 254-772-8090 to find an agent who will provide a free review of your auto, home, and life coverage.
It's the President's Day event at Allen Samuels with deals on the 2020 Jeep Renegade Latitude with total values of $6,750 or 0% for 72 months plus $2,500 in combo cash. Shop AllenSamuelsDCJ.com. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.